My provider is the main god. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26 Michael Grandma Feng, Indifference. The familiar title, it's really time for me to come back. Tang Yuan sat on the roof of the ancestral hall next to the shrine, looking at the old man Higurashi below. You mean, in half a month, your granddaughter? Kagome, yes, call it that name? Your granddaughter is going to have her 15th birthday. That's what you mean. The old man Remu affirmed, and then stared at Tang Yuan with a dead fish eyes. By the way, you've been sitting there for 3 days, aren't you going to leave? How can there be a shrine that drives people out? Besides, I plan to stay here for another half a month. Your granddaughter, how should I put it? It seems that something very interesting will happen to your granddaughter. After hearing Tang Yuan's words, old man Remu fell silent. He mistakenly thought that Tang Yuan was not a human being, but some kind of immortal, but now what Tang Yuan said made him think involuntarily, instead of denying it immediately. Something interesting will happen to Kagome? What? Who knows, don't bother me. After finishing speaking, Tang Yuan sat down again and entered the meditation state. This skill is much better than sleeping. It can not only exercise one's mental strength, but also pass the time. Yes, if you sleep, you can only sleep so much a day. Sleeping too much, if you have too much, you will not be able to fall asleep, but you can meditate at any time and no matter how long you meditate. The point is, the energy consumption during meditation is really very little. Tang Yuan could sit like this without eating or drinking water for several months. He really did this before. So for the next half month, the man in black sitting motionless on the roof of the ancestral hall became a highlight of the Higurashi shrine, and this made the old man even more certain that Tang Yuan was a fairy. So, on the morning of Kagome's 15th birthday, the story began that morning. Sister? Sister, are you okay? Xiao Tai looked into the well for a while, but it was pitch black and she couldn't see anything clearly. Just before, Kagome helped him run into the ancestral hall to find the cat, but the cat was found. But Kagome fell into the well in a strange and extremely unscientific posture, as if he had encountered some supernatural event. At this time, Tang Yuan, who had been sensing the external situation, waited until Kagome was dragged into the well by the centipede witch, and then slowly came down from the roof. Aren't you that brat from this shrine? It seems to be called Fuck Tai, isn't it? Tang Yuan looked at Xiao Tai standing at the entrance of the ancestral hall and smiled at him. That's right, but why do you feel malicious when you pronounce my name? How is it possible? I'm a good person. Tang Yuan walked into the ancestral hall, poked his head out of the well and looked. Fuck, did your sister fall? That's right, I have to hurry and call Grandpa. No need. Tang Yuan stopped Xiao Tai and said, it's no use calling the old man here. Your sister has already gone to another world. Then, Tang Yuan didn't bother to care about Xiao Tai, who stood there with a horrified expression and didn't know if he misunderstood something, turned around and jumped into the well as well, landed firmly. Female sign. Why I still can't do it. Tang Yuan, who has refused to log in again by the server, exchanged another key of time and space, false, angrily, and finally traveled back to the ancient times after squeezing it. Only Xiao Tai was left alone in the ancestral hall at a loss. No matter what, go and call Grandpa here. Kagome was tied up and placed at the entrance of the village by a group of people, surrounded by a group of folks. Did you find this guy at Inuyasha's side? It's so strange to dress, this woman. I'm afraid it didn't turn into fox. In my opinion, it must be a spy sent by another country. It's going to war again? Why is it when the seedlings are planted? Looking at a group of villagers who were discussing fiercely, Kagome couldn't help feeling tangled in her heart. What kind of people are these? Strange hairstyles, strange clothes, strange looks, weird looks, what the hell? Exclamation mark. At this time, several people led an old woman dressed as a witch over. Get out of the way, Grandma Feng is here. So the crowd avoided a path and let Grandma Feng walk in front of Kagome. What's the matter with this strange old woman? Grandma Feng still had the same habit as when she was young, when she saw suspicious people appearing and didn't know what to do. Then sprinkle it with salt. Yes, sprinkle it with salt in case of indecision. Shuha, so Grandma Feng grabbed the salt and sprinkled it on Kagome. Cough, Bah, what are you doing? Seeing the girl who didn't respond to the salt in front of her, Grandma Feng also looked surprised. I heard that everyone caught a strange girl at Anuayasha's side. I thought it was a monster or something, isn't it? The people around also started to talk about it. Sure enough, it's a spy sent by another country, isn't it? How is it possible? Grandma Feng said angrily, is there any benefit in beating our village? If you want money, you need food or food. I'm afraid they came to liberate us. As she spoke, her eyes fell on Kagome. Older, her eyesight is a bit difficult. Grandma Feng leaned in front of Kagome, held up her face and took a closer look. Hey, girl, make your expression smarter. What are you doing? Let me go. Kagome couldn't stop struggling. It's so similar, it's really too similar, Sister Kakayo. Grandma Feng was talking to herself, and suddenly remembered what Tang Yuan had said when one day you meet a little girl who looks very similar to Platycodon grandiflorum, take out this little green ball and crush it on the spot. So, she reached out and touched it in her bosom, and took out a small green ball. Is this the one, crushed? How can I have such a strong hand when I am old, huh? Kagome just looked at the strange mother-in-law in front of her and muttered to herself, then took out a small green ball from her bosom. What is this for? Then, the strange old woman crushed the green ball. Okay. Hey. Then, Kagome saw a scene that completely ruined her three views. The old woman in which clothes was surrounded by a burst of green light. Her stooped body gradually became tall and straight. Her gray hair was slowly dyed black. The dry skin also began to become tight and shiny. In a matter of breaths, the old woman disappeared, replaced by a big sister who looked to be in her 20s and was dressed in a witch's clothes standing where she was. That's right, it's exactly what Miss Feng looked like a few chapters ago. What the hell is going on? This old woman, why did this old woman suddenly? Kagome yelled a few words in shock, and then began to struggle crazily. Let me go. There are monsters. It's broad daylight hitting a ghost. The surrounding villagers were very calm. Look, this looks like Grandma Feng when she was young. An old man pointed at Sister Feng and recalled, I remember that Sister Feng used to look like this. She was a goddess at that time. Is it true? Dad, is this what Grandma Feng looked like when she was young? A group of young men asked. Speaking of, I also have a little impression. Another old woman also said. Looking at this group of nervous villagers, Kagome felt that she was going crazy, and shouted, Hey, you guys. Don't you think there's something wrong after seeing this scene? It's unbelievable. Grandma Feng suddenly became young. This doesn't seem to be something a monster can do. Could it be a god? There's a god protecting Grandma Feng. The villagers began to brainstorm with each other. Sister Feng touched her whole body, pondered for a moment, and then stretched out her hand to untie the rope on Kagome's body. Here, come to my house and talk slowly. That guy is really inexplicable. That guy? Kagome asked, which guy? Follow me, go to my house and talk slowly. No, why should I follow you? You have suddenly become like this. I think you are a monster? What do you monster want to do? Let me go. In this way, Kagome's three views were destroyed by Tang Yuan when she first came to the Warring States period. Chapter 27 Protect Your Kidney. When Sister Feng brought Kagome into her home, she found that there was already a person in a black coat sitting in the center of the room by the campfire. A copper pot with a strange shape was set on the bonfire, and the bright red oil soup in the pot kept tumbling. This person is Tang Yuan. You are back? Sister Feng, seeing you like this is really nostalgic. Duong, Sister Feng stepped forward and hit Tang Yuan on the head. It's you. That weird guy who sat motionless on the roof for half a month. Jerwei pointed at Tang Yuan and shouted, why are you here? Also, what is this place? Why are the people around you? It's all weird. Hey, you really are a girl with a big nerve. Tang Yuan couldn't help sighing when he saw Kagome's appearance. What's the meaning? A profiteer. Sister Feng walked up to Tang Yuan and sat down. Is this what you said, a girl from the future? Why do you feel so unreliable? Well, the protagonists are all like this. The first few episodes were very unreliable. Tang Yuan shrugged, pointed at Kagome standing at the door, and said, Girl, are you hungry? Come and eat. Hot pot. It's the classic old Chunqing hot pot again. Sister Feng has been with Tang Yuan for a long time in the past few decades, and she has basically adapted to this kind of hot food that can make people breathe fire. But Kagome, yes, Japanese hot pot is full of clear soup. How can you eat something so spicy? Another hot pot eater only stared at the red soup. Sister, there is white soup in the middle. Oh. After eating a hot pot meal, the three of them sat in a circle around the campfire and began to answer questions with each other. So, Tang Yuan, why did you make me look like this? Sister Feng touched her whole body again, changing from an old man back to a young man made her feel extremely uncomfortable. What? You don't like this yet? Oh, it's just because we've known each other for so long, so I'm giving you a gift. No thanks, no thanks. Duong, Grandma Feng. Why did you hit me again? It just feels like you're meddling in other people's business. Also, since you're already like this, please call me Sister Feng. Oh, you've turned into a rainbow with this little bit of color. Duong, I see, Sister Feng. Sitting on the sidelines, Kagome watched the seemingly hostile but actually intimate interaction between the two, and felt that this guy named Tang Yuan had such a strong taste that he would be interested in an old woman. Girl, what you think in your heart is written on your face. I'm from the same period as the old lady you think. Strictly speaking, I'm not much younger than her. Tang Yuan pointed Kagome's face, said righteously. Hey? I'm thinking about something, is it that obvious? Kagome flustered and touched her face back and forth. Speaking of which, girl, don't you have anything to ask? Tang Yuan changed the subject. Yes. Of course there are. And there are many. Kagome became serious as soon as she heard this, and then asked very seriously, this isn't Tokyo. Tang Yuan and elder sister Feng looked at each other. Elder sister Feng had a tangled expression on her face, and asked Tang Yuan, is this child really okay? Oh, I said it was only like this at the very beginning. She just has two upright views, and she can't change it for a while. Tang Yuan said, turned to Kagome and replied, in this era, Tokyo is still called as for Edo. Strictly speaking, Edo is not far from here, you can walk there in a day and a half. How? Do you understand where you are now? Or is your history teacher died earlier? Kagome-san. Oh, I don't really understand what you mean. Kagome still looked confused. Crack. Tang Yuan slapped his face and covered it. This child is really well educated by the motherland. Then he stood up and took out a hearthstone. Wait a minute, I'll be right back. So Kagome watched this guy holding the hearthstone and rubbing it violently for a while, rubbing, and then disappeared in place. Ho! Disappeared. She exclaimed. So, what's the fuss about disappearing? Sister Feng touched her ears helplessly. Not long after, Tang Yuan suddenly appeared in the house again. It seems that after going somewhere, he replaced the hearthstone with the hearthstone of Maple Village and rubbed it back. He can carry hearthstones from multiple strongholds, and the one who appeared with him was Liu Ranunculus. Not only has she not grown a beard for decades, but she has become more and more seductive vixen. Well, what I want to say now, I can no longer say that he is a girl, it should be more appropriate to say that he is Sister Yu. Too bad it's a man. What are you doing, boss? We are just about to wash the child and put him to sleep. Li Yun. My follower. Have you completely become a housewife now? Tang Yuan held Liu Yun by the collar, lifted him up and dangled him in mid-air. Hurry up and wake up, come here. A new storm has emerged. The door to adventure has opened. Let go of us. I've strangled my neck. I feel uncomfortable all over. Tang Yuan threw Liu Ranunculus to the ground. Liu Ranunculus. It's been a long time. The last time we met was when you just married your wife and had your wedding wine. But now is not the time to reminisce about the past. Your eloquence is better than mine, so I have something to say. Don't bother to say. Go and sit in front of that dazed girl and help me answer her questions. Huh? But we. Okay boss. No problem boss. Seeing Liu Yun profusely answering various questions from Kagome over there, Sister Feng gave Tang Yuan a cold look. You still like to bully the child so much? Ho. Anyway, little brother. It's just for bullying. Aren't you afraid that one day he will rebel? Tang Yuan heard Sister Feng's question, glanced at Liu Ranunculus not far away, and replied flatly, him? If he really wanted to rebel, he would have done it long ago. Besides, I haven't been bullying him all the time, haven't I always taken care of him? Tang Yuan said with a righteous face, if it wasn't for me, Do you think this guy can live a good life like this? If it wasn't for me urging him if he cultivates hard, can he have the ability to marry a wife? Ah, that seems to be the case. Forget it. This is a matter between you and your servant. I don't care about it. Sister Feng looked out of the window after finishing speaking. Speaking of that girl from the future child, she actually has an aura that is very similar to Sister Kikayo. Could it be the reincarnation of Sister Kikayo? Huh? Can you feel this too? After becoming younger, has your strength recovered? I really want to see how much combat power you can display in your old age. Duong, why hit me again? Brassy brat. At this time, there was a sudden commotion outside the village, and everyone hurried out to check the situation. I saw a huge centipede rushing towards the village. The centipede with the upper body of a human being was the centipede witch. Hand it over. Where is the jade of the 4 souls? Hurry up and hand it over. What? Big Sister Feng felt a little bad. She said the jade of the 4 souls? Isn't the thing already? The villagers obviously couldn't beat this guy, and retreated one by one. At this time, the villagers on the watchtower shouted down, Lord Feng is bad. There are still a large group of monsters behind the centipede witch. What should we do? Tang Yuan scolded the grass mud horse in his heart. Isn't there only a pitiful centipede witch in the plot? Question mark. There is still a group of monsters going to make trouble. Question mark. Lord God, come out to me. Exclamation mark. Is it your fault again? Question mark. Sister Feng had a murderous look on her face. I will solve it myself. Tang Yuan. You go with me. Yes, yes. Tang Yuan followed helplessly, and before leaving, he carried Lecunculus. Don't be lazy, silly fox. Come and accompany your boss to the battlefield. Kagome watched the crowd walking towards the outside of the village, and asked, what about me? What should I do? Little girl, you can stay at Grandma Feng's house. Oh yes, take good care of your kidney. Your left half of the kidney is worth more than tens of thousands of apples. What do you mean? Kagome didn't understand Tang Yuan's last sentence. Anyway, protect yourself. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28 Seal released. Sakura Face. How is Miss Feng's strength? Although it is not as good as Kikayo, it is definitely not weak. Otherwise, why hasn't Maple Village disappeared in the past 50 years? Crack, bang, bang. This woman named Feng has protected the village for 50 years alone. Hey. Boom. If besides Tang Yuan, there is another person who knows the original work here, seeing Sister Feng's appearance at this moment will definitely vomit 3 liters of blood. Sister Feng is wearing the storage ring given by Tang Yuan in her right hand, and she is taking out all kinds of weapons that do not belong to this era from it, playing Warring States warriors among the monsters. Oh, Sister Feng, do you still keep these guns? Tang Yuan looked at the weapons that Sister Feng kept switching in her hands in surprise. I thought you would sell them. No matter who you sell them to, a lot of money. Whispering. Sister Feng took out a large caliber nozzle, and blasted a big bug that was rushing in front of her to pieces. With cold sweat on Kagome's face, she looked at the 3 people in the distance who were crushing monsters in various ways. Tang Yuan was honestly using Spirit Blast, Liu Yun was honestly using Foxfire, and if he didn't hang up, he wouldn't be dead, will be blocked. Only Sister Feng is very modern. Are those monsters? These people look so scary. That's a gun. Well, for a junior high school girl living in a peaceful era, it is a bit overwhelming to suddenly come into contact with these witches who are monsters and carry guns. Hey. Girl, didn't I tell you to come in quickly? Tang Yuan took the time to look back, only to find that Kagome was still there in a daze. Oh. Kagome hurriedly ran towards the house. It was only then that Tang Yuan turned back to continue fighting in peace, and only then did he notice that something was wrong. Sister Feng, Liu Yun, have any of you seen the centipede temptress? No. We didn't see it either. At this moment, the 3 of them heard Kagome screaming, the roof of Sister Feng's house was lifted, and the centipede temptress came out of Sister Feng's room with something in her mouth, probably escaped went in. Damn. When did this monster know how to play tricks? Tang Yuan cursed and hurried back to Sister Feng's room. The roof was gone, and Kagome was lying on the ground clutching her left waist. Student. Classmate? Are you okay? Pain. It's not good. Half of your waist is gone. Tang Yuan knew what the centipede witch had done when he saw the location of Kagom's wound. After leaving a word, he turned and walked out the door. The animal is also cured, by the way. You have suffered from kidney stones for many years. Can you run now? If you can, run to the place where you just came to this world. There's a festively dressed body nailed to a big tree. You go find him. After watching Kagome run away without a trace, Tang Yuan returned to the battlefield. Sister Feng and Liu Yun were still fighting with a large group of monsters. At this time, Sister Feng took a look at Tang Yuan and asked, "Where are you going with that little sister?" "It's nothing. Let's deal with these monsters first." After swallowing the Jade of the Four Souls, the centipede woman's strength increased greatly, and her originally pretty face became curious, and she rushed towards Tang Yuan with all her teeth and claws. In her opinion, Tang Yuan seemed to be the weakest of the three. One of weak wool. Spiritual Explosion VI, the upgrade of Spiritual Explosion V, which greatly increases the release distance, blasting damage and blasting radius. This upgrade requires 400 million points. Do you really think that Tang Yuan has done nothing in these decades? Question mark. Primary Spiritual Blast, Secondary Spiritual Blast, Spiritual Blast, Spiritual Blast II, Spiritual Blast III, Spiritual Blast IV, Spiritual Blast V, and now to the current Spiritual Blast VI. Count how many levels you have raised in total. Question mark. Go to hell. The centipede temptress opened her mouth and bit Tang Yuan. Spirit Blast. Bam! With a loud noise, the human part of the centipede woman exploded, and pieces of meat flew around. However, because of the Jade of the Four Souls in her body, this body, which was already dead no matter what, continued to squirm and fly away. The pieces of meat also flew back one by one and reorganized into the appearance of a centipede temptress. Cut. It's really troublesome. Tang Yuan threw several mental blasts in a row, shattering the whole body of the centipede witch, and finally saw a small glowing ball being blown out. He hurriedly dragged the small ball to his face with his telekinetic power, and the centipede woman on the ground quickly turned into fly ash, leaving only dilapidated bones. After all, she was a monster that had been dead for decades. After eliminating the most powerful centipede witch among them, the morale of the monster group dropped, and soon, the three of them successfully wiped out this group of miscellaneous fish monsters. Simple, easy, and enjoyable. Tang Yuan fell back to the ground from the sky. His mental power is much stronger now than it was decades ago, and he doesn't have to worry about being exhausted when flying around in the sky. "Boss, are we alright?" Liu Yun started bouncing around Tang Yuan. He really thought he was a girl. Question mark. When Sister Feng was about to say something, she suddenly saw a beam of light rising into the sky in the forest in the distance, and heard a faint roar. I'm so excited. The three of them looked in the direction from which the voice came from. Over there, seems to be the place where Inuyasha is sealed. Sister Feng ran over there after finishing speaking. "Oh, Miss Feng, wait for me. Boss, don't leave us here alone." Kagome looked at the festively dressed white-haired boy yelling in front of him with a posture of "I was so scared that I sat on the ground," feeling as if she had been cheated by Tang Yuan. "This guy, why did that weirdo ask me to come to this guy? The people here look so weird. Mom, I want to go home." After Inuyasha finished venting his emotions, he turned around and looked at Kagome, who was sitting on the ground. "Very good. A woman who looks like Kikayo, you put me down, and I can grant you one wish." Ah. Kagome was taken aback. Can this guy still fulfill his wish? Just when she was still thinking about whether to make a wish like "I hope I can realize 3 wishes, there was a bang gunshot from a distance, and a sniper shot as thick as 2 fingers. The bullet flew from afar, but unfortunately it missed, and hit a tree 2 meters away from Inuyasha, and with a click, the tree as thick as a wash basin was interrupted in the middle. "Ali, child. Okay, big sister, put away the gun. Don't you already know that Inuyasha is just a scapegoat? Why don't you just let him go? Everyone has a common enemy, right? After drinking this bowl of gang's water, everyone will be good brothers." That's what you say, but that seal is left by Sister Kikayo. Duong. Wow. Boss, just say what you say. Why are you hitting us? So, Sister Feng, you've got a picture. Okay. The three of them rushed towards where Inuyasha and Kagome were. Chapter 29. Is it delicious, 2 dogs? When the three of them came to Inuyasha and Kagome, they reacted differently. Kid-san looked at Inuyasha with great interest. Tang Yuan also looked at Inuyasha with great interest. Liu Yun looked at Inuyasha with great interest. What the hell, these three people are clearly doing the same thing. Question mark. Inuyasha was surrounded by three people with 5 eyes, Miss Keat has 1 eye, and felt a pain in the ass, so his temper came up and he played violently. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Tang Yuan replied, and continued to look at the second son of the General Inuyasha. He only felt that Inuyasha, apart from his hair color, could not find any other way to tell that this guy and Sashama were brothers. Period. Try another look. Inuyasha turned his face. Just try it. Tang Yuan stared at him with wide eyes, as if he wanted to stare off his skin. Yo-hoo? You have a temper, don't you? Inuyasha rolled up his sleeves, and stepped forward to teach Tang Yuan how to behave. Do you know how to write your name? There are 4 ways to write the word Tang in Tang Yuan. Speaking of this, I remembered that there are 4 ways to draw the magic circle in the fireball technique. Did you make it? Tang Yuan suddenly asked such a question. What? Inuyasha was taken aback. What are you talking about? Can draw? I'll teach you, remember. These magic circles should be memorized. When you become a big monster in the future, you will use them in fights. Inuyasha thought that he was still far away from the big monster, and he had never used fireball to fight, so he pouted and walked away. At this time, Tang Yuan could only hear a loud roar, "Auntie is great. Oh, I am great at fireball." So a fireball the size of a bathtub flew towards Inuyasha with a whimper. Boom! Master level fireball technique. The upgrade of expert level fireball technique greatly increases the size of fireball, range distance and explosion damage. If you don't know how to use fireball, you still have the nerve to say that you are a magician. Question mark. This upgrade requires 200 million points. Tang Yuan passed a master level fireball technique, and Inuyasha was caught off guard and was directly blown away. However, because he was wearing a fire mouse fur, he did not suffer from the damage of the fireball technique, and stood firmly on the ground after flying a long distance. Hey! What do you mean? Do you want to fight? It's nothing, it's just that when I see other people with their backs to me, I have a habitual urge to throw a fireball over. As he spoke, Tang Yuan took out a clattering plastic bag. This tastes good, I want to eat it. Is it? Take it as an apology. Inuyasha had already rushed in front of Tang Yuan, and as soon as he smelled the smell in the plastic bag, he was attracted by the things inside, took it over and tasted it. This thing, not bad. You didn't poison it, did you? How could it be possible to poison inside? Don't worry, we can be friends. Tang Yuan smiled and snapped his fingers at Kagome. Kagome took a closer look. The words on the plastic bag were written in unintelligible English, but there was a big picture of a samurai dog. Apparently that's dog food. Sister Feng looked at Tang Yuan and Jiewei's efforts to hold back their laughter, and scratched her head. What's wrong? It's nothing. Eldest sister, you don't understand. Tang Yuan bit his lips tightly, enduring it very hard. Several people, including Inuyasha, sat around the room with the little pink ball in the middle. Jade of the 4 souls. What's wrong with this? Tang Yuan asked. This jade. I always feel that if the news leaks out, it will be very dangerous. Just give it to me. Inuyasha said, reaching out his hand to take away the jade of the 4 souls. Pa! Sister Feng slapped Inuyasha's hand away. You bastard. I was very confused before. You look familiar. Who are you? Inuyasha pointed at Sister Feng and shouted. Ah, it seems that you have forgotten me, right? Sure enough, the dog's head is not very bright. Sister Feng tapped the metal eye patch on her right eye with her fingernails while talking. You. Inuyasha was stunned for a moment. You look like this. And you're blind in 1 eye. Could it be that you? Sister Feng smiled faintly. It seems that your brain is still saved. Impossible. Inuyasha yelled at Sister Feng. I know how long I have been sealed. After all these years, a Feng has either become an old woman or died. Who are you? Tang Yuan, can I beat him? Sister Feng asked Tang Yuan, pointing at Inuyasha. What do you ask me for? It has nothing to do with me. With that said, Tang Yuan picked up the Jade of 4 Souls and looked at it carefully. This is a good thing. Hey, Miss Feng, remember what I told you before. Elder Sister Feng had already grabbed Inuyasha by the collar and was about to make a move, but upon hearing Tang Yuan's words, she let go of Inuyasha and moved closer to Tang Yuan's side. What did you say? About Naraku? Tang Yuan said. Inuyasha, Come here too, this matter has something to do with you. Inuyasha saw that no one was paying attention to him, so he took out a bag of dog food and crunched and chewed, but he heard Tang Yuan calling him. What does it have to do with me? At this moment, Tang Yuan noticed Inuyasha's bald neck. Yes, there should have been a string of rosary beads there at this time. In this case, it seems that I am not busy for the time being. So Tang Yuan smiled and shook his head, put the Jade of the Four Souls back among the crowd, then stood up and clapped his hands. Forget it, it's not something important. I remembered that there are still some things I haven't done, so I have to leave for a while. Sister Feng, be careful yourself. Sister Feng was just stunned for a moment, then nodded with a clear face. Hey. What are you talking about? Inuyasha was about to reach out and grab Tang Yuan, but the latter took out a strange stone and rubbed it violently. After rubbing it, Tang Yuan and Liu Yun disappeared. Period. What the hell is this guy doing? Inuyasha said unhappily, but saw the Jade of the Four Souls in the center of the room. It seems, the two strongest guys have already left? Then should I? Boss, why did you stop talking all of a sudden? Liu Yun asked, walking behind Tang Yuan. It's nothing. It's just the bond between those two people. If you don't do this, your childhood will be ruined. Hey? Liu Yun, did you ask me anything? Although Tang Yuan wanted to change some plots, but he didn't want the heroine and heroine in the anime he had been chasing since childhood to just pass by, so he still decided that certain plots had to be allowed to develop slowly on their own. Especially, the Jade of the Four Souls must be shattered, otherwise Nailuo will not be able to get the pieces of the Jade of the Four Souls, and will not be able to enhance its own demon power, and will not split into clones. Then, the woman with the folding fan would never appear again. Boss? What's wrong with you? Seeing that Tang Yuan was rubbing his head vigorously, and his hair was messed up, Liu Yun asked with some concern. It's nothing, I thought of something. Tang Yuan straightened his hair and looked at Liu Yun. Didn't you move after you got married? I remember you told me that there were two very restless people near your new home. A monster? It seems to be called, what? It's the Thunder Beast brothers, Fishin and Mansion. Liu Ran impatiently shook his hand. I'm upset when I think about it. Oh, I have a bit of an impression. Tang Yuan nodded, remembering that part of the plot, when Fei Tian and Mandian appeared on the stage, it was really a domineering sideshow, especially Fei Tian, if it was put in other animations, a proper protagonist. Thinking about it, Tang Yuan's eyes towards Liu Yun gradually became strange. Boss, what's wrong with you? Liu Ranunculus, you seem to be. Chapter 30, Station 23A Scheming Bitch is a Scourge? Oh my, isn't this Master Sesshomaru? It's been a long time. Tang Yuan greeted Sesshomaru, who was blocking his way, with a smile. Sesshomaru didn't speak, but the evil view who followed behind him jumped out. You bastard. How dare you ignore what Master Sesshomaru said decades ago? You are so courageous. Eh? Ignore? What am I ignoring? Tang Yuan scratched his head in confusion. Sesshomaru glanced at Tang Yuan indifferently, and seemed to be talking to himself, so it's not ignoring, but simply forgetting. Eh? Tang Yuan felt the murderous aura gradually emerging from Sesshomaru, and felt a little light. What did I do? Why do you act like you want to bite me to death? A light whip made of condensed demon power was drawn towards Tang Yuan, followed by Sesshomaru's words, I once asked you to bring me a sentence to Deo Deo Zhai, you forgot. Tang Yuan suddenly remembered that there seemed to be such a thing. Sesshomaru asked him to say something to Deo Deo Zhai, to tell Deo Deo Zhai not to hide from Sesshomaru anymore. Then I resolutely forgot it, and I forgot it for decades. Oh, boss. Boss, don't do this, I really didn't mean to. Tang Yuan dodged back and forth in the light whip of Sesshomaru, moving coquettishly, and kept yelling, Boss, do you think we can just leave it like this? After all, I feel that we have a good relationship. Sesshomaru didn't speak, and the speed of waving the light whip in his hand became faster and faster. But the wrong view started to shout again, forget it? You look down on Master Sesshomaru so much, how can you forget it? Hey, I'm going. Boss, don't. Liu Yun. Catch me. Tang Yuan yelled and grabbed Liu Yun, and then a telekinesis, and the two teleported to the distance. Now telekinesis has also been upgraded, and the teleportation distance has also been greatly increased. Tang Yuan can come and go as he wants within a range of 200 meters. Then Tang Yuan carried Liu Yun with frantic telekinesis, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Sesshomaru calmly withdrew his hand and turned around. Wrong view, let's go. Ah, yes. Master Sesshomaru. This is great. Tang Yuan looked at the large piece of beef dripping oil in the bonfire. His face was full of displeasure. It is so inexplicable to offend the killing palace. How could I forget this time? The Shadian is still a very stingy person. Oh, so angry. Boss. Shut up, Leocunculus. Oh my god, why did I just forget it? It was obviously a matter of little effort. Why did I just forget? That's Shadian. It makes Shadian hate it like this. It's such a pity that I... Old? Shut up, Liu Yun. I still have a chance. Shadian will play a lot in the future. I still have the chance to have a good relationship with him. At least Shadian won't be as frizzy as Urgauzi, is it right? What does he need? Tai Sui Yak? No, this must be Urgauzi's. Then. Alright, didn't I lose a hand after killing the palace? I can try to help. He repaired the missing left hand, to see if he could gain some favorability. Boss. What are you doing, Liu Yun? You've been yelling there. Liu Yun pointed to the bonfire, with a troubled expression on his face. Boss, if you don't put any salt, you can only eat white meat for this meal. This sentence is what we wanted to say before, but now we want to say, it's too late. Eat white meat, boss. Tang Yuan also looked at the cooked beef without any seasoning in his hand with a tangled expression. It's okay. Liu Yun, come and cut up this beef. Try this. Even white meat dipped in this is delicious. That's right. The goddess of thousands of nerds. Thou hot woman, old godmother. So like this, Tang Yuan wandered outside with Liu Yun for 2 days, until, when there were countless lights passing by in the sky. Wow. What is that, boss? It looks so beautiful. Liu Yun looked at the streamer in the sky. Tang Yuan grabbed a few of them with his telekinetic power, and dragged them in front of him to take a look. The jade fragments of the 4 souls. This seems to be the jade of the 4 souls? Boss. How did the jade of the 4 souls look like this? Liu Yun circled around Tang Yuan. Don't shake it. Well, it seems that what should have happened has already happened. Liu Yun, let's go back. Tang Yuan put away 3 pieces, took out the hearthstone of Maple Village, and started rubbing. As soon as I returned to Maple Village, I saw Kagome with a dazed face and Inuyasha with a fallen expression. Hey. You two. It seems that you get along well. Tang Yuan waved at the 2 of them from afar. It's you. I've heard a lot about you in the past few days. A strange businessman who always has a coquettish vixen by his side. Kagome shouted, pointing at Tang Yuan. Tang Yuan glanced at Liu Yun. Well, it's really alluring, but what a pity. Hey, silly fox, I'm not complimenting you. What does tail wagging mean? ? I heard from Sister Feng that you are also a guy from the future, right? Kagome walked up to Tang Yuan and asked, and you did stay at my shrine for a while. Which era are you from? Modern is not maybe someone as powerful as you exists? Tell me your origin. Oh, my girl, your desire for knowledge is very strong. Curiosity will kill the cat. Tang Yuan smiled at Kagome, and then put on a very awkward posture. Come on. Girl. If you want to know my origin, just follow my actions and words, and you will know when you are done. I'm going to beat you until you cry. Tang Yuan put on a big kiaoli. I'm going to beat you until you cry. Kagome learned to put on a big kiaoli. Zissa, Tang Yuan put on a kiaoli. Zai say. Kagome also put on a kiaoli. There's only one reason for your failure, and that is that you pissed me off. Tang Yuan continued to pose with 3 kiaoli. There's only one reason for your failure, and that is that you pissed me off. Kagome followed suit with a 3 jolly pose. Inuyasha, sit down. Tang Yuan pointed at Inuyasha and shouted. Inuyasha, sit down. Kagome also pointed at Inuyasha and shouted, hey. Boom. Urgauzi on one side was firmly pressed to the ground by a force majeure. It seems that Urgauzi really started to be dishonest after Tang Yuan left, and tried to steal the jade of the 4 souls, and then was put on a rosary by Sister Feng. I have to say that if you don't die, you won't die. Why don't you understand, Gauzi? PFFT ha. Tang Yuan looked at this scene, covered his stomach and rolled on the ground laughing. You bastard. Inuyasha turned his face, rolled up his sleeves and wanted to go up and beat Tang Yuan up. At this time, Sister Feng also came over. It really is your style of acting, Tang Yuan. Hey 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 hey. Tang Yuan kept lying on the ground and waved at Sister Feng. Hello, Sister Feng, stand up, big or small. Yes, Sister Feng watched Tang Yuan stand up with a playful smile, and handed him the basket in her hand. Take it, put it at home for me, and why did you come back all of a sudden? It's hard to say. Tang Yuan held a basket in one hand, and took out the jade fragments of the four souls from his bosom with the other hand. Sister Feng, look at this. Seeing the jade fragment of the four souls in Tang Yuan's arms, Inuyasha once again looked at Kagome with a murderous expression. I'm very sorry again. Kagome was embarrassed. This is my fault. No. Girl. Tang Yuan put away the 400 soul jade fragments under Inuyasha's jealous gaze, and said calmly to Kagome, you did a good deed. What did you say? Inuyasha rushed forward to fight Tang Yuan desperately. If he had a disagreement, how could this be a good thing? Kagome and Grandma Feng even looked puzzled on the side of Liu Yun. The specifics are for you to follow me. I have an important piece of information to tell you. As he said that, Tang Yuan walked towards Sister Feng's house with a basket on his shoulders, and everyone hurriedly followed. A few people sat around the house, with a pot on the campfire. Well, they were talking about things while heating the pot again. First of all, I want to introduce you to a very powerful monster. Tang Yuan picked up a squid tendril with his chopsticks. Except for Sister Feng and Liu Yun who were eating with their own bowls, the others, Kagome and Inuyasha, Seto together, I don't know what they each imagined from the squid's whiskers such a shape. Naraku, you are so miserable. And then, Naraku, he is a very thoughtful monster, but also a very timid monster, good at routines, and likes to provoke discord, that is to say, except for the male gender, the others are completely scheming whores. Do you understand? The crowd nodded. Then first, I need to tell you why Inuyasha suddenly went berserk 50 years ago and ran into the village to snatch the jade of the four souls. Tang Yuan looked at Inuyasha. Urgauzi, you suddenly turned your face and ran into the village to snatch the jade of the four souls, because you were betrayed by Kikayo. She wanted to shoot you dead, right? That's right. Inuyasha nodded first, then turned his face again. What the hell is Urgauzi? At this time, Sister Feng said, impossible, Sister Kikayo would not do such a thing. Then she looked at Inuyasha with a displeased face, and even if it is true, Inuyasha, you are clearly unscathed, and you are not as for putting such a heavy hand on her. This time it was Inuyasha's turn to look confused. Shoot? What do you do? At this time, anyone with a little brain knows that something is wrong. Well, then on the other side, Kikayo was seriously injured. It seemed that he thought he had been attacked by Inuyasha, and Kikayo, who thought he had been betrayed, was very angry, so he dragged his half-dead body back to the village. Tang Yuan held it with his chopsticks. The squid's tentacle stuck into the red soup. Then I just saw Inuyasha running out of the village with a jade of the four souls. This time, I got the stolen goods. She directly shot an arrow, and the arrow almost hit Inuyasha's chest. In my heart, you will know what happens next. Everyone was silent for a while. Don't you guys feel that there's something wrong? Tang Yuan looked at the squid's tail as if it was cooked, and put it into his mouth, chewing while looking at the crowd. Why do two people who have such a good relationship suddenly betray each other at the same time? Leaving this aside, why are the situations on the two sides completely different? Then contact the scheming whore I mentioned earlier, and then I will reveal a little more information to you. That scheming whore can pretend to be anything. Well, the camouflage technique is even more skillful than a vixen. How can he be so proficient? The crowd was shocked. Could it be? Inuyasha miskeyed. Huh? What vixen? Liu Yun poked his head out of the bowl. Why is there a by scholar here too? Kagome threw his chopsticks. Your reactions are so interesting. Tang Yuan shrugged, and picked up another squid whisker. Is that the one? That's right. Niluo knew he had succeeded after acting in this play. Stop. The two major obstacles for him to obtain the jade of the four souls have disappeared. However, what really confused him was that Kikayo chose to cremate the jade of the four souls with her. This ignorance, it directly made him ignorant for 50 years. Everyone. However, as I said before, Naraku is a scheming bitch, and a scheming bitch is best at hiding himself. Naraku knows that he has offended so many people, so he will never show up easily. Just delete the number and change the vest again. So, we need something to lure him out and make him think he has some kind of advantage. The so-called drawing out is Sister Feng understood. That's right, the jade of the four souls. After he smells the jade of the four souls, he will definitely get out of the mouse hole and snatch it. Just in case, we need the jade of the four souls. You can't let him snatch it away completely. That's why I said that it is a good thing that the jade of the four souls is broken, because in this way, Naraku must constantly search for the jade fragments of the four souls, and he must continue to appear in front of us, even as long as we also have the jade fragments of the four souls in our hands. Then as long as Naluo wants to get the complete jade of the four souls, he must face us. At this point, Tang Yuan squeezed his hands fiercely, crushing those two pieces of jade. Poor chopsticks. It makes sense. Everyone nodded. That's it. The pot 50 years ago needs Naraku to carry it, and if you want to learn Naraku, you need the jade fragments of the four souls. By the way, Urgauzi, you are just going to go out with Kagome to collect the jade fragments of the four souls. Jade fragments, right. Tang Yuan clapped his hands. Go out with me some other day. I know some reliable partners. Maybe I can introduce you to them. It seems that the granddaughter of Tridacna and Mabeo's grandson have grown up. Coral, and Maitreya, right? Chapter 31 Reverse hair not yet. Oh, so, girl, you are going to go back like this, right? Tang Yuan sat on the roof and looked down at Kagome, who was wearing a witch's clothes. Kagome didn't speak. Although she felt a little guilty for smashing the four-soul jade with an arrow, it didn't stop her from going back to the normal modern world. Oh, what an irresponsible girl. Tang Yuan rolled on the roof, looked at Miss Feng and Inuyasha, who came back with Kagome in the distance, and waved. Hey, you two. Well, this little girl seems to want to run away, so don't you intend to stop her from leaving? It seems that only she can see the fragments of the jade of the four souls. Even I can't see that thing. Sister Feng said indifferently, I'm too lazy to care. After hearing Tang Yuan's words, Inuyasha became angry again. Say it as if I need the help of that kind of person. Let me just say that. Even without her, I can collect all the jades of the four souls by myself. Shards. Oh, that's a scary guy. Tang Yuan rolled on the roof again, and ended up rolling to the edge and fell off from the top. I don't care about you, one of the four souls. That thing is not very attractive to me anyway. But, Urgauzi, are you sure you don't need the help of little girl Kagome? Huh? Inuyasha put his hands on his hips. What do you mean? Look down on me. That's not enough. Tang Yuan opened his right hand towards Kagome, turned to Inuyasha and said, do you want to try? Without Kagome, you won't survive tomorrow. What? Hey. After finishing speaking, Tang Yuan dragged Kagome away with telekinesis, all the way to the Well of Bone Eaters. Okay girl, don't keep struggling. We've reached the stop, let's go. Tang Yuan pointed at the Well of Bone Eater, and regardless of whether Jie had reacted, he let go of the control on her body, so Jie fell into the mouth of the well. After watching Kagome disappear at the bottom of the well, Tang Yuan slowly flew back to the village. Where did you take that woman? Inuyasha asked. You don't care about this. Oh, here we come. As he spoke, Tang Yuan noticed the black spots getting closer in the distance. It is 6 ranunculus. Boss. We're back. Liu Yun dragged a big bag, and landed steadily on the ground like a tiger grabbing its head down a mountain, rubbing its face on the ground for several meters. Hey. Liu ranunculus. After prostate break, have you developed a skill like face gear shift? Tang Yuan looked at Liu ranunculus getting up from the ground and rubbing his face with a smile, and asked, did you bring it? I brought it. Liu Yun excitedly stretched out his hand to untie the thick hemp rope tied around the mouth of the big bag. It's fresh. It's just a little struggling. As soon as the bag was opened, Kid-san and Inuyasha approached it curiously, and looked inside. Sister Feng's expression was a little unnatural. Tang Yuan, are you still doing this kind of business part-time? Inuyasha looked puzzled and said, so what do you guys mean? Inside the bag was a girl with short black hair, who was a little disheveled at the moment because Liu Ran put her in the bag for a long journey. How is it, boss? Are you satisfied? Are you reliable? Don't worry about what we do. Liu Yun bounced around Tang Yuan for a while. Good. Tang Yuan noticed that Sister Feng and Inuyasha were looking at him more and more strangely, coughed dryly, and walked in front of the still dazed girl. Negative hair tie, isn't it? Tang Yuan asked, looking at this monster girl who didn't care about her disheveled clothes and gave priority to tidying her hair instead. It's me. What Nifajilo thinks in his heart now is that there is a saying that I don't know if I should say it or not. Hiding in my den and combing my hair, suddenly a big fox with 6 tails came in. Without saying a word, he grabbed himself and put it in a sackcloth bag. By the way, he also took away his own body, the red skull. So you are the owner of this big fox? Nifajilo stared at Tang Yuan. What are you planning to do? Human trafficker? No, it should be said to be a demon trafficker. What do you want to do by arresting me here? What are you doing? It's obvious. Tang Yuan took the blood-red skull from Liu Yun's hand. Is this your body? I have something to say. Ji Luo hesitated. Well, it would be nice for such a cute girl to be my follower. Tang Yuan looked at the big red skull and tried to put it into the ring. Outside, this has happened to me before where I put my phone in a ring and it still has signal and still accepts calls and texts. From this point of view, this ring is connected with the outside world. After Nifajilo's body was put into the ring, wouldn't it be impossible to kill her, whose body cannot be destroyed? Ow! What did you do? However, Nifajilo didn't understand Tang Yuan's actions, and watched the skull disappear from Tang Yuan's hand in shock, thinking that he had been given something by some means. Destroyed. After a long time, I realized that I was fine. Very good, now your lifeline is in my hands. Obediently listen to me, from today onwards you will be my follower, understand? Tang Yuan said angrily. Sister Feng and Inuyasha on the side looked at his actions and felt confused. So, you strange guy? Inuyasha asked him loudly, even if you are taking followers, why are you in front of me? What are you trying to do? What are you doing? Tang Yuan scratched his face, stretched out his fingers and pointed straight at Inuyasha. Ji Luo. Now that you have become my follower, now carry out the first order I give you from your boss. Tang Yuan said loudly with a smile similar to that of Curator Jin, go and kill Inuyasha. What? Ergozi frowned. He. Ji Luo clasped his hands indifferently, and said to Tang Yuan, it's as if I do as you say, and you will return the body to me. Oh that's how it is. Tang Yuan smiled maliciously, even if you listen to me, I really won't give it back to you, but if you don't obey. What's the matter? Ji Luo puffed out his chest in the spirit of a dead pig not afraid of boiling water. Are you really willing to kill such a delicate girl like me? No, I won't kill you. The malice on Tang Yuan's face became more and more intense. Then he said, I have a way to turn you into a bald head, and then write the word miserable on top of your head. Do you believe it? Nifajilo was stunned for a moment, then his face turned blue, and he nodded with a stiff neck. I see, boss. I am obedient. That's alright, fuck me. Fuck Inuyasha. Kill Inuyasha for me. Yes, boss. Why? Inuyasha looked at Ji Luo with a dazed expression, and countless hairs flew towards him, and quickly backed away. Because I want to prove that if you leave Kagome, you won't survive tomorrow. The smile on Tang Yuan's face is bright no matter how you look at it. Chapter 32 Your mother flew away. Third watch, ouch. My Mushin Polygonum dependence. Let's break out. Text as expected, Inuyasha did not survive to the next day. Cough, I was wrong, Inuyasha was hanged up and beaten by her because she couldn't see the hair of Inuyasha. What's even more disgusting is that because the main body is hidden, Nifajilo is an unbeatable monster at all. Even if Inuyasha has a heart against the sky, he has no power to return to the sky. In the end, he was tied up into a rice dumpling by Nifajilo with his hair. How about it? Admit that you can't do it. Tang Yuan looked at Inuyasha struggling on the ground like a caterpillar with a smile. That's what a man should do. When you have to admit that you can't do it, don't lose face and suffer. A man can bend and stretch well, isn't it? Ergauzi. Shut up. Shameless old thief. Inuyasha was still struggling on the ground, but his hair was tied more and more tightly. So, you still need the help of little girl Kagome. Her eyes have been opened. Tang Yuan said and waved at Nifajilo. Okay, don't make this bad luck. The child was killed. If I were to die, I would feel sorry for a large group of people. Yes, boss. As he spoke, Tai Luo took back her supernatural powers. Well, he took back her hair. After Inuyasha was released, he immediately got up and rushed towards Tang Yuan. You bastard. I'm going to tie you up and throw you into the cesspit. Tang Yuan, on the other hand, stretched out his finger and pointed at Inuyasha calmly and shouted, sit down for me. Inuyasha was stunned for a moment, then Tang Yuan ran away, waving at him while running. The conditioned reflex has been cultivated. Ergauzi, you are so miserable. Come back, you bastard. I'm going to hang you on the top of Mount Fuji and smoke it into bacon. Inuyasha yelled fiercely, but he didn't dare to chase him. He himself knew that he couldn't beat Tang Yuan. Oh. I really feel that the boss has become more and more immoral recently. Liu Yun sighed, reached out and patted Nifajilo on the shoulder. We are your seniors, do you want to have something to eat together? Don't worry, the boss is actually a very good person. Nifajilo put on the fox's expression. It's very nice to kidnap someone here and forcibly harvest him as a younger brother. Question mark. Fuck your own father. Question mark. Sister Fen was calm from the beginning to the end. After all, she has been so calm in the past few decades. She just left a sentence, I still have the virtue of a child when I am dozens of years old, and went back to the house with a basket on her shoulders to prepare for cooking. Damn. Do I really need that woman's help? Inuyasha was dissatisfied, but he also knew in his heart that he could no longer be self-willed and save face as before. If he really wanted to collect the jade fragments of the four souls, looks like he really needs Kagome's eyes. Seeing Inuyasha walking slowly towards the well of bone eaters, Miss Fen smiled softly, and turned to digging for vegetables seriously. That guy Tang Yuan will come back for dinner. Recently, Sesshomaru began to look around for his father's grave. It is also the place where the famous and powerful monster Dao Yaoang was buried. Because he learned that the knife of King Dao Yao, the powerful demon sword that can kill hundreds of monsters with one swing, Tai Sui Yang, is in the cemetery of King Dao Yao. Of course, he also knew that Tai Sui Yang was left to Inuyasha by his father. But how can a mere half-monster be worthy of such a superior weapon as Tai Sui Yang? Sesshomaru thought so, and started running around the whole map with evil views. However, even though the whole of Japan was searched, just like when Naruto was looking for the Jade of the Four Souls after the death of Kikayo, the land was turned up, but nothing was found. In the end, he set his sights on Inuyasha, whom he had been refusing to pay attention to, this so-called younger brother, who might know where his father's cemetery was. Thinking of this, he walked to the place where Inuyasha was with his wrong views. And at this time, in Maple Village. After Inuyasha pulled Kagome from the modern era, he finally defeated Nifajilo symbolically. Only then did he have to admit that Kagome's power is indispensable if he is to find the jade fragments of the Four Souls. But at this time, one wave of ups and downs rose again, and the days had not been stable for a few days. One night, everyone saw a bullet cart appearing in the sky. Fuck. Ergauzi, look! Your mother is flying. Tang Yuan pointed to the sky and shouted. Inuyasha took a closer look. It's not so good. The curtain of the car floated up, revealing the appearance of the person in the car. It was indeed Inuyasha's mother, Izayoi. Seeing Inuyasha yelling to rush forward, Tang Yuan grabbed him and said, Wait a minute, don't you think there's something wrong with your mother being so fresh after being dead for so long? That's right. Inuyasha's IQ was also on the line after he said this, and he reacted. And at this time, a huge ghost appeared, crushing the car with one claw, and grabbed at Izayoi in its hands. Only then did everyone realize that there was a tall figure covered in pure white standing on the ghost. Oh. That is. Tang Yuan shouted with an exaggerated expression. Sesshomaru. Inuyasha gritted his teeth and said the name. Kagome watched Tang Yuan and Inuyasha's reaction, and couldn't help asking, who is this Sesshomaru? Sesshomaru on the huge ghost's shoulder over there heard Inuyasha calling out his name, and said slowly, You still remember my brother? I'm really touched, Inuyasha. Huh? Kagome looked back and forth between Sesshomaru and Inuyasha. These two are actually brothers. Tang Yuan didn't care what they were doing. He flew to the ghost's left hand, pulled out the door knife and cut off the huge left hand directly. Looking at the falling 16 knights, Tang Yuan was alone thinking about the past. It's called one, right? No matter, let's go! Exclamation mark. Then that 16 knights screamed and flew away, killing the palace. You are not being kind this time. Tang Yuan turned his head to look at Sesshomaru. How can you use other people's mothers to deceive others? This kind of method is not like it is you. You bastard. Sesshomaru looked at Tang Yuan with more and more cold eyes. I really want to kill you, but I have to clarify, this is not my idea. The evil view on one side shivered. Yes, he was the one who made this detrimental move. Shadian, you need to calm down. Are you worried about the one who flew away? Don't worry, she is a monster after all. She can't die if you fall. You can't die. Tang Yuan swayed with a smile. Waving his hands didn't ruin his consciousness of doing good deeds at all. It's just right, I don't want to act in such a boring scene. Said, Sesshomaru's hand became brighter and brighter, and the demonic power continued to condense. The people on the ground have been in a dazed state since Tang Yuan rushed up and sent Wen Yu to telekinetic collapse. Hey, Inuyasha, that shouldn't be your mother, right? Kago murmured. Probably, isn't it? Inuyasha was also a little uncertain. Do we think we should go up and help the boss? Liu Yun looked at Tang Yuan, who was already being pumped by the killing pill, with a worried expression. Nifajilua felt that what had happened in the past few days was quite rich, so she decided not to express any opinions at this moment, and stood obediently and watched. Yes. Shadian, are you really here? It hurts, it hurts. Tang Yuan accidentally moved his position, and was whipped far away by the whip of Sesshomaru. Looking at Sesshomaru rushing towards him, hastily teleported away. What an annoying guy like a flea. Sesshomaru said, looking at Tang Yuan's body that was as slippery as soap. Hey? Fleas? Shadian, do you have fleas on your body? Do you need to buy some good things from me? Tang Yuan teleported to the side of Sesshomaru at some point, and teleported again after saying this to more than 100 meters away. There are fleas growing on you. Tang Yuan was capable of forcing Sesshomaru to say this, and then he was kicked back to the ground by Sesshomaru, and slid on the ground for 10 how many meters. Wow, boss. Are you okay? Liu Yun hurried over. It's alright, I'm using the shield. Tang Yuan climbed up, tentatively walked to Inuyasha, took out a time-space key, false, and said, Urgauzi, don't move. What are you doing? Inuyasha asked Tang Yuan's strange behavior. I just want to try. Logically speaking, since that thing is a passage that can lead there, the space should not be very stable. As he spoke, Tang Yuan brought the small ball in his hand to Inuyasha's right eye, and crushed the small ball. Clap! Sure enough, there was a reaction, and an irregularly shaped crack appeared in front of everyone. Okay, let's move the battlefield now. Tang Yuan waved his hand towards Sesshomaru in the sky in the distance, killing Hall. What you're looking for is here. Then he ran in with a bewildered crowd. All this happened so fast that Sesshomaru in the evil view hadn't reacted yet. This. Master Sesshomaru, shall we follow? Evil View raised his head and asked Sesshomaru. When had Sesshomaru been afraid of this? After saying go, he raised his leg and walked into the crack. Master Sesshomaru. Wait for me. Chapter 33 The Destination of the Strong. Unexpectedly, even if the Black Pearl in Inuyasha's right eye was not taken out, it would still be useful. The time and space around the Black Pearl has always been unstable, but after Tang Yuan took out the key of time and space, false, and crushed it to release the power of time and space inside, a passage was actually opened. Everyone didn't know why, so Tang Yuan led them into this crack. As soon as they entered, their eyes lit up, and they appeared in a very wide place. You guys can really come up with some interesting things. Inuyasha stared at Tang Yuan unhappily. Tang Yuan pointed in a certain direction. Look over there, it should be someone you know. Everyone looked at Tang Yuan's fingers, and there was no sound at all. A skeleton, a huge skeleton wearing armor, just sitting in the mountains, because it is too tall, even the part above the shoulders is faintly shrouded in clouds and mist. The head of the skeleton is not on the shape of a human skull, but it is clearly in the shape of a canine. The mouth is wide open, and the sharp fangs seem to be pierced directly from the mouth, even though it is dead. I don't know how many years, but it still makes people feel terrified just looking at it. That is. Kagome looked at the skeleton, such a sacred and terrifying sight that she didn't know what to say. That is Inuyasha's father. Tang Yuan said lightly, General Inuyasha, the body of King Daoya. The place where everyone appeared was the top of one of the peaks in the mountains. At this time, there were many strange birds flying over that were so rotten that only their feathers and bones were left. It seemed that they were here to serve as mounts or something. Maybe, it was arranged by King Daoya before his death? After all, he had already calculated that in the future his second son, Inuyasha, would definitely come here to take away Tishuaya, and it is unlikely that Inuyasha could fly. Riding this strange bird, everyone flew close to the skeleton of King Daoya, and only then did they really feel a strong sense of oppression from the corpse. It is worthy of being the overlord hundreds of years ago. The huge body can also be intimidating. Father. Inuyasha looked at the body of King Daoya, and murmured without knowing what was going on in his heart. At this time, Sesshomaru also walked through the gap with an evil view, and looked at the skeleton of King Daoya from a distance. That's father. Zijin looked at the remains of King Daoya tremblingly. This may be the first time he saw Sesshomaru's father, because he was not a retainer of King Daoya, but decided to follow him when he met Sesshomaru by chance. In other words, he is actually Sesshomaru's retainer, and he doesn't know Daoyawang. That is your father. Mr. Daoyawang. Such a big monster may have been so powerful that one day after reaching out to pick off the sun, others would just exclaim really amazing. Although this statement is a bit exaggerated, it is undeniable that the terrifying power of King Daoya the body left a deep impression on the wrong view. Two strange birds flew in front of them. They didn't care who came here, they were only responsible for serving as mounts, and nothing else mattered. No one even knew whether they were conscious or not. Evil view, let's go over. After leaving these words, Sesshomaru jumped lightly and stood on the wide back of the strange bird. Tang Yuan and the others went all the way down to King Daoya's stomach, and were shocked again by the huge number of human bones inside the remains. This huge space, if you don't say it, no one will believe that it is in the body of a big monster, and in this vast space, it is covered with an unknown layer of human bones. Oh, this is really... Tang Yuan looked around, patted Inuyasha on the shoulder, and said, although it's a bit defensive to say that, but, your father really had a good meal before he died. Cut. Inuyasha didn't pay attention to what Tang Yuan said. His attention was placed in the center of the scene, where a tattered samurai sword was stuck. Is that the one? He walked over and stretched out his hand to pull out the sword, but the samurai sword, which seemed not to be firmly inserted, did not move at all. How is this? This is a broken tooth. Tang Yuan walked closer and looked at it carefully. This kind of shape is completely like throwing it on the side of the road and no one will pick it up. I really can't tell. Such a tattered samurai sword would be such a terrifying demon sword. You bastard. I've been wanting to ask you for a long time. Inuyasha pointed at Tang Yuan and yelled, why do you seem to know a lot of things? Even my father's cemetery is here, and there is a way to get here. How do you know about this kind of thing that even I don't know? Look at you, you still know this knife very well? Is this knife very powerful? Ah, so you're not stupid. Tang Yuan glanced at Inuyasha, if you know it, you'll know it. Anyway, I'm a good person, so what are you afraid of? That's what I said, but I always feel very uncomfortable. Inuyasha stared viciously at this profiteer who claimed to be a good person. Ah, by the way, when I opened the passage letting here, I used up a key. It was that little ball, which is very precious. You owe me 100 taels of gold. It really is a profiteer. ? Little girl Kagome, come here, don't be afraid, come here. Tang Yuan waved at Kagome. If I remember correctly, only humans can pull out this knife. You have to come and try it. Give it a try. Me? Aren't you a human being yourself? Oh, don't you think it's a bit weird that I, a big man, helped another big man pull out this knife and then handed it to him? Obviously it's just you thinking too much. Kagome complained, stepped forward and held Tai Sui Fang, and pulled it up with all her strength. Then the knife was pulled out easily, as if it was just placed lightly in the hole dug here beforehand. Kagome, who used all her strength in the empty space, was thrown directly by a big buttock. What the hell? This knife? Kagome yelled dissatisfiedly, rubbing his butt while handing iron broken tooth to Inuyasha. Very good. That's it. Tang Yuan cheered up and clapped his hands vigorously. Young man. Now is the time for you to unleash the true power of this knife. Come on, shout. Great K, Duong. Inuyasha hit him on the head directly with the back of the knife. I always feel that I should hit you at this time, and I don't know why. Well done. Tang Yuan rubbed the place where he was hit on the head. There was a bit of drama just now. Cough, it's okay. Now you need to find a way to guide the true power of this knife. At this time, there was a loud noise from everyone's heads, as if someone had forced a breakthrough, followed by an extremely cold sentence. The way to bring out the true power of this sword is that you give it to me, and I will kill you. Inuyasha. Yes. Tang Yuan immediately waved upwards, then grabbed Inuyasha, who hadn't reacted yet, and threw it up. Come on Urgauzi. Come on. Bite him. Tang Yuan, I want to plant radishes on your grave. Inuyasha yelled and flew up, and was kicked away by Sesshomaru. Sesshomaru stared at Tang Yuan coldly. Finally there was a murderous look in his eyes. You guys seem to know a lot. I'm going to take out everything you know before you die. Killian, please calm down, hey? If you have something to say. Li Yun. Jiluo. Come and grab my hand. Seeing Sesshomaru swooping towards him, Tang Yuan quickly grabbed Locunculus and Jiluo on one side, and then disappeared with another burst of skilled telekinesis. That guy is really annoying. Sesshomaru looked at the body of the fighting Tooth King, except for Kagome and Inuyasha, who was empty, and whispered to himself, it's not just like as annoying as fleas, but even more annoying than fleas. Teleporting out of King Daoi's stomach, Tang Yuan appeared on the top of a mountain with Locunculus and Jiluo, looking at the skeleton of King Daoi from afar. The King of Bean Sprouts, the author did not make a typo, it was really extraordinary when I saw it today, it really is such a powerful monster. It can be called a contemporary god dog. I don't know whether it's a compliment or an insult. After Tang Yuan left this sentence, he took out the hearthstone and rubbed it vigorously. Fortunately, the hearthstone can also work in this place, so he disappeared with Locunculus and Jiluo up. Come on, Ergauzi. You must have the determination and will to protect human beings. Otherwise, if you are killed by the killing palace like this, I will look down on you. Chapter 34. Do you like spicy food? After leaving King Daoi's cemetery, the three of them appeared in Fengzi village. Liu Yun looked around. How could there be shadows of Inuyasha and Kagome? So he asked Tang Yuan worriedly, Boss, did we leave Inuyasha and Kagome there? It's okay, I did it on purpose. Tang Yuan stretched his waist, his muscles and bones creaked. Hiss, oh, I was whipped several times by the killing palace. I can't tell he's okay with this, shaking S plus lolikin or something. As he spoke, Tang Yuan walked towards the village, not forgetting to call his two followers. Hey, you two, do you want to eat hot pot or barbecue tonight? Before Liu Yun could speak, Jiluo raised his hand. Hot pot, I want something light. Can Tang Yuan's hot pot be bland? Immediately, Liu Yun laughed. Want something light? Then you'd better choose barbecue. Jiluo asked puzzled, no matter how you look at it, the barbecue tastes stronger than the hot pot, right? It seems that you still don't understand our boss. Liu Yun's vixen-loving nature came up again, and she ran after Tang Yuan. Boss. Jiluo wants to eat hot pot. She also said no white soup. Oh. I never expected to meet a girl with such a strong taste. Tang Yuan was immediately shocked when he heard that. One must know that chili peppers will not be passed on by the Portuguese until decades later. When I entered Japan, if I want to eat spicy food in Japan at this time, I still have to rely on wasabi. People's tastes are relatively light. Meeting a girl who likes spicy food in ancient Japan is equivalent to someone suddenly standing up and saying that he believes in the true God Allah in the era of the most serious religious persecution in Europe. Rare, extremely rare. This is a strange species. If so, then take out a bag of ancestral hot pot ingredients at the bottom of the box to entertain this strange girl. Liu Yun didn't know that he had cheated the reverse hair so casually, but let this poor girl directly lose 2 years of life. According to the recollection of Jiluo in the future, she couldn't help shivering when she recalled it. She seemed to have passed the shock that night. I don't know how long it took before Inuyasha came back with iron broken tooth on his shoulders. That guy Tang Yuan, he just ran away like this. I must use his ashes to make tea. Ergauzi roared, waving back and forth in the air with iron broken fang in his hand. Well, he still has a bit of conscience. Before he left us a small ball called, otherwise we don't know how to get back. The key to time and space, false, given to her is also more complicated. It's like, you're sitting fine on a plane, and suddenly someone kicks you off the plane, and then kindly gives you a parachute, that? In this way, the black pearl in Inuyasha's right eye has lost its value without any appearance at all. Just as the two were talking, they had already arrived at the door of Sister Feng's house. Inuyasha didn't bother to say hello, and directly opened the door. Tang Yuan, you didn't expect that, did you? You didn't manage to kill me, sir. I'll come back alive, eh? What happened to her? She was eating, and why was she lying on the ground? Liu Yun, on your head, what happened to that bag? You made Tang Yuan angry again. Come here, I have reserved a place for you, the dishes and chopsticks are all set up, come and eat. Inuyasha and Kagome looked at each other and shook their heads helplessly. Jiluo was just as Liu Yun expected, and mistakenly thought that Tang Yuan's hot pot was similar to the hot pot in her impression, and was deceived, especially since there is no chili pepper in Japan now. What is in the red soup? She didn't know what was going on, and seeing the oily old meat slices rolling in the pot seemed very tempting. She picked up a slice and put it in her mouth. At that moment, she seemed to see a light shining down from the sky. Li Yun, it's not a problem to see that Ji Luo has been standing there all the time. You go and touch it first, and see if it's still warm. If she's still alive, go make the bed and let her sleep in the quilt. Otherwise it looks so pitiful. What are you looking at? Did you go and return me? Don't you think about to trick this unlucky child into this? Boss, that hot pot is not ours, it's yours. Okay boss, no problem boss. Only then did Tang Yuan turn his head. Just at this time Inuyasha also finished explaining the battle that was said to be earth-shattering. Oh, I roughly understand. Tang Yuan rubbed his chin. That is to say, at that time, you said a gay man opened my trousers and rushed forward, and then you didn't know what you drew with that knife? The wind, just like that, turned into a huge fang-like sword, and then you raised the sword and chopped off Sesshomaru's left arm. It's almost like this. Inuyasha took the initiative to ignore the words Dragon God Sword in Tang Yuan's dialect. It's amazing. Tang Yuan applauded persistently. It seemed a bit mocking, and patted Inuyasha on the shoulder, saying, in this way, your strength is enough to go out with me to take risks. Come on, come on. After making this bowl of hot pot soup, tomorrow we will go out to fight monsters, upgrade and pick bosses. Oh. Under the setting sun, two figures, one tall and one short, walked slowly. Master Sesshomaru, are you alright? Shijian followed behind Sesshomaru tremblingly, looking at his empty left shoulder. Be afraid. At this time, Sesshomaru doesn't seem to be in a good mood, and he might kill himself to vent his anger. However, as a subordinate, it would be a bit unreasonable if he didn't express his concern at this time. Sesshomaru-sama. To shut up. Sesshomaru sneered at the evil view coldly, then looked in a certain direction. The surroundings were quiet. It seems that I have been found. Then there is no way, but it really took a lot of effort to find you. A figure came out from a certain corner and looked towards Sesshomaru. Waved his hand. Hi-yo, killing palace. Sesshomaru threw a bright whip directly, drawing a deep gully on the ground, but Tang Yuan dodged with incomparable proficiency. He was hit. Oh my. It hurts, it hurts. You bastard. Sesshomaru walked towards Tang Yuan step by step with a murderous look on his face. I'm going to crush you to pieces like a flea. Kill the palace. Kill the palace. Boss, calm down. Oh, don't do it. It's a friendly army. Don't fight, it's a friendly army. Tang Yuan was whipped and rolled around on the ground, and finally dropped something. The thing arrived at Sesshomaru's feet, then teleported again, and disappeared. That nasty guy, Master Sesshomaru, should we chase after him? Zijian looked around with a stick on his head, trying to find Tang Yuan. No need, that guy has already escaped a long way. Yes. At this time, Sesshomaru picked up the ball that Tang Yuan had thrown before. This is. The ball was wrapped in a layer of paper, and it said crush this up and try if you can. Since when has Sesshomaru been afraid of this? Question mark, just try it. Exclamation mark. Clap, this pinch is incredible. A strong golden light appeared, enveloping Sesshomaru, frightening the evil view beside him to roll 3 times on the ground. Then, Sesshomaru's left shoulder squirmed, and a brand new arm grew out. Zijian was stunned by this scene, staring at Sesshomaru's left arm with big eyes, unable to speak other than Sesshomaru tried to move his left hand, clenched his fist, and bent his arm, as if he had never been injured. It really is a guy who is more annoying than fleas. Let's go. Wrong view. Hey? It's, Sesshomaru-sama, wait for me. Back in Fengzi village, Tang Yuan found that Sister Feng was waiting for him there. Elder sister. You're back. Sister Feng stared at Tang Yuan until she felt uneasy. Eldest sister, then what? I'm too lazy to ask you. Sister Feng left this sentence and walked towards the medicine garden. Since you're back, come and help me collect the herbs. If you delay any longer, half of the herbs in the garden will be destroyed. Okay, no problem, big sister. Following Sister Feng to the medicine garden, Tang Yuan smiled and glanced at the lower right corner of his field of vision. It really hurts to kill people and smoke people. If this goes on, I'm about to awaken some strange hobbies. What are you dawdling about? Come here. Here comes the eldest sister. Body repair, regardless of the target strength, completely repair all physical and mental damage, fixed exchange price. 50 points. Looking at it now, I still feel that if it's just repairs, the price is so expensive. Killing the palace, you owe me 50. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35 Idlidin and number 039, T expect you to be like this 6 ranunculus. I seem to be too high these days. I feel like the protagonist is mentally retarded. Let's restrain ourselves a little bit. Not everyone likes a psychopath to be the protagonist. Text Tang Yuan and his party were already on the journey, and at this moment it was mealtime, and they were sitting on a small slope. Originally, Kagome was going to take out the instant noodles called ninja food by the people in the Warring States period to show off his sense of superiority from the future, but Tang Yuan waved his hand. Barbecue. This profiteer really can take out anything. What kind of person would carry such a large piece of raw beef with him? Question mark. Even the profound knowledge of Grandpa Mingjia, who appeared on Inuyasha's shoulder at some point and had no sense of presence, couldn't figure out how Tang Yuan did it. By the way, Grandpa Mingjia, seriously, when did you show up? Tang Yuan chuckled and said nothing. Who said you carried it with you? I bought it fresh from Lord God, and the meat is still warm. What's the matter, Liu Yun? Tang Yuan asked when he saw that Liu Yun was a little absent-minded, holding a large bunch of roast meat, but he couldn't finish his mouth. Boss, what? Here seems to be. Liu Yun looked around, a little shy. Are you saying, are you a man? Tang Yuan was in a hurry. These 6 ranunculus are also mother-in-law? Oh, it's roughly confirmed. Liu Yun glanced in a certain direction, with a clear expression on his face. Our house is nearby. Everyone looked at the barbecue in their hands, and suddenly felt the urge to rush up and smoke. Liu Yun, why don't you think about it earlier? Question mark. Is it interesting to have a picnic in the wilderness? Question mark. Very good. Tang Yuan ate up the barbecue in his hand a few times, stood up and said to Liu Yun's head, hurry up and finish your food. We will spend the night at Liu Yun's house tonight. Liu Yun, you probably don't have any objections, do you? No opinion. Liu Yun cried out in a crying voice, covering her head. Tang Yuan, why do you like to bully Liu Yun so much? Jerwei stood up and complained, how pitiful he is. Oh, Liu Yun, you are so cute that someone is willing to stand up for you. Tang Yuan looked at Liu Yun with a smile on his face. It's okay, Miss Kagome. Liu Yun said, looking up at Tang Yuan. Actually, it doesn't hurt for the boss to beat someone. This guy, why is he blushing? Question mark. When Liu Yun blushed, Tang Yuan's face turned green. Brother, buddy. Think it through, you have a wife and children. After the picnic was over, and it was almost dusk, Liu Yun led the crowd to a mountain wall, and with a wave of his hand, a cave appeared. Huh? Why is it a cave? Kagome couldn't accept it. She thought it was a villa suddenly built in the wilderness, even if it was a thatched house. I almost forgot that Liu Yun is a fox. Wild animals don't just live in caves. Exclamation mark. Not right. Question mark. The fox obviously made a hole to live in by himself. Question mark. Why look for a ready-made cave? Question mark. This hole was dug out with a lot of effort. Well, since it's a monster, there's nothing wrong with digging stones with bare hands. But why do you dig holes to live in? Question mark. Tang Yuan seemed to have seen the expression on Kagome's face that was about to collapse, and said with a smile, it's okay, classmate Kagome, I came to Lecunculus's nest once, and the interior decoration is pretty good. Walk into the cave, pass a corner, and come to the end of the cave, where there is a big door. Cough, cough, cough. Liu Yun gave a dry cough, tidied up her appearance, stepped forward and knocked on the door. Fucking child. Open the door. We're back. Then there was a sound of footsteps from the door, and then the door was opened with a bang, and a girl with a big tail behind her appeared in front of everyone. Welcome back. There are guests. Isn't this the eldest brother? So you are here too. Judging from the appearance, this girl will never be more than 15 years old in terms of human age? Oh, I really can't tell. Liu Yun, you guy. Tang Yuan had an impression of this girl named Wasabi because he had met once, and responded with a smile, "Long time no see, sister." And the others, "You can't say that," not counting Inuyasha. Only Kagome began to stare at Liu Ran with a look of scum. Liu Yun waved at the crowd and said, come in, treat it as your own home. Mommy, let's make tea." A few people walked into Liu Yun's house, and sure enough, the inside was well decorated by Liu Yun. Even the walls were smoothed and then covered with a layer of tiles. Huh? Ceramic tile? Kagome couldn't help looking at Tang Yuan. That guy was pretending not to know something. When it comes to ceramic tiles, Kagome remembered it at this moment. Nima actually used electric lights in it. Exclamation mark. Is there a lot of incomprehensible things? In fact, we don't understand what's going on. We just learned how to use them. These things were given to us by the boss when we moved. The boss also installed a few on the ceiling. Boss, it's called ventilation ducts. A few ventilation ducts have been installed, and there is no stuffy feeling in here. At this moment, Kagome tugged at Tang Yuan's sleeves, and whispered to him, where does the energy for the electrical appliances in this house come from? Don't tell me that Liu Yun knows how to use a generator. You probably installed it down there. A nuclear reactor. Tang Yuan also replied in a low voice, of course it's not a nuclear reactor. Kagome breathed a sigh of relief. I don't install that kind of rubbish for Liu Yun. I installed a crystal energy generator. What the hell? That is a crystal that captures the gravity of the sun and the moon for infinite rotation and provides energy. It is said to be alien technology. What? Do you want to hand it over to the country? I don't have the guts. After Kagome asked clearly, she tried her best to keep her face as natural as possible, and followed everyone to the living room. Coming from the 20th century, the time when the manga was published, she knew better than these people from the Warring States period how terrifying this guy Tang Yuan is now. Nima even got alien technology. Question mark. It's not that Kagome just believes whatever he says, but I'd rather believe it than believe it. Looking at the tiles around, the obviously waxed wooden floor on the floor, and the electric lights on the wall. Such a modern environment gave Kagome the illusion of returning to the modern world, until he went to the living room with everyone. Lee sat down and still thought so. Please use. The girlish wife of Leocunculus ran over and poured tea and left. Inuyasha and Grandpa Mingjio were still lamenting that Leocuncle's residence was really high-end and high-grade. Buttercup's shoulder said, I heard that you and Wasabi had a baby? Why didn't you release it for us to see? What's the matter? Isn't the baby still young and still looks like a little fox? That's not true. Liu Yun waved his hands, a little embarrassed. Since the boss wants to see that brat, let's ask him to come over. So, Liu Yun turned to one side and yelled a sentence that Tang Yuan would never forget. This extremely coquettish pseudo-mother Yoo vixen shouted, Kibeo, come out, Uncle Tang Yuan wants to see you. Seven treasures. Question mark. Then Liu Yun turned around, covered his face with one hand, and smiled. He is a very cute child. Hey? Boss, what's wrong with you, boss? Why are you vomiting blood, boss? Are you okay, boss? Chapter 36. Liu Zhi has no future. After hearing something too shocking, Tang Yuan vomited blood for 3 liters and fell to the ground unconscious. When he opened his eyes leisurely, he heard several people not far away still discussing there. Why did the boss suddenly vomit blood and fainted? This was Liu Yun's voice. Is it because he is a human being but forced to live in a certain way for decades, and now he can't hold on anymore? This was Kagome's voice. HMPH, it's a good thing that that kind of guy died. Needless to say, it was Inuyasha's voice. That's right, I'll be free after I die. Nifajilo. It seems that this little brother has some dissatisfaction in his heart. I don't know what to say, but let's come out and get a sense of presence. This should be the old man Mingjia. Tang Yuan got up and looked around. Did it see any little foxes or anything like that? That's great. It looks like it should be my hallucination. It must be so. How could it be possible for a silly fox like Liu Yun? At this time, Liu Yun heard Tang Yuan laughing alone, and turned around. Oh. Boss, you are awake. Tang Yuan took a closer look. Nima Kibeo was sitting in Liren's arms, before Liren turned his back to him and blocked Kibeo so he couldn't see it. Liu Yun, what is this child? What is this child's name? Kibeo. Boss, isn't that a good name? Liu Yun walked up to Tang Yuan with Kibao in his arms. Come on, Kibao, call me Uncle Tang Yuan. Uncle Tang Yuan. Tang Yuan looked at the little fox in the shape of a kid in front of him, just like in comics and anime, with 2 heads, a big tail behind the buttocks, and 2 feet. Maybe because of his young age, they were still fox feet. Horizontal ellipsis. If not Kibao, who else? Hey, good boy. Tang Yuan with a pale face stretched out his hand to touch Kibao's head. Mistake, oh mistake, I have been with Liu Yan for so long, and I even came here not long ago, but I just happened to miss Kibao. Why didn't I see that Liu Yan has such a big background? You must know that Kibao's father appeared in the original work. That's right, it's Man Yan, the younger brother of the Thunder Beast brothers. That's the fox fur around his waist. Because Man Yan has many shots, Kibao's father also indirectly appears in many shots. Well, although it feels a little bit hard, thinking about it now, from Kibao's point of view, it feels a bit cruel. My father was skinned and wrapped around his waist. It was only then that Tang Yuan remembered that when he met Liu Yun, she was just a weak chicken. The jade fragments of the 4 souls on Fishan and Mansion were all snatched from Kibao's father, Liu Yun. With the jade fragments of the 4 souls, they can't beat Fishan and Mansion, so how weak they must be? Question mark. If he hadn't been urging him to practice hard, and take out his wife's milk to practice, and all kinds of attribute-enhancing things in his hands would be stuffed into his stomach as if he didn't need money, he would have grown 6 today. Tail? Maybe it's really the fox fur around the waist of that guy Mansion. It's a pity that the wasabi girl, although she looks good, can be seen from the color of her tail. It's not as beautiful as Lacunculus. I guess there won't be even a piece of skin left. I remember that Liu Yun said that he and Wasabi were friends. So, even if he didn't intervene, maybe his wife in the original work is also Wasabi? Seeing that Kibao is exactly the same as the original, it should be like this. Kibao, I can be regarded as saving your parents in a disguised form, shouldn't you show something? Thinking of this, Tang Yuan suddenly remembered something, and asked Liu Yun, by the way, Lacunculus, speaking of it, didn't you say that there are 2 thorns near your house? Question mark? Oh, there is such a thing. Liu Yun nodded and confirmed, it seems to be a guy from the Thunder Beast family. His name is... Hey? What is it called? We forgot for a while. At this time, the Wasabi girl came over and said Duan to Liu Yun's head, Fei Tian and Man Tian. Oh. I remembered, the name is right. Liu Yun, it turns out that your head can be knocked off by anyone? I seem to know why you are getting more and more stupid. Tang Yuan just vomited 3 liters of blood symbolically to express his inner shock. This is okay. In fact, he had nothing to do with it, so he jumped up immediately and shouted, then let's smash that. It's a place for 2 people. Oh. Good boss. No problem boss. Liu Yun first cheered, and then shook his head. No, boss. No, that's not what we mean, boss. Actually, we want to solve this problem by ourselves. Tang Yuan looked Liu Yun up and down with a look of surprise. After looking at it for a long time, this guy's face started to turn red again. Holy shit! Exclamation mark. Tang Yuan quickly asked, why? It's not the reason, we just want to see if we can do it alone. Liu Yun smiled, a man has to be a little bit responsible, right? Do you remember that you are a man? Okay then. I'll go tonight and come back to sleep after finishing it. Hey? Boss. Come, I'll take you there, and watch around by the way. Tang Yuan nodded, and as he spoke, he picked up Lacunculus and walked outside, crawling back as he walked. Sister Wasabi. I took your Lacunculus out for a walk. Come back before midnight. Okay, no problem. Brother, remember not to leave him outside. That dead ghost doesn't know the way. And he used to go out to have fun by himself, but he couldn't find out how to come back. Hearing these words, everyone was sweating on their foreheads, and nodded in agreement. It was almost the same situation during the picnic today, and Liu Yun looked back and forth for a long time before realizing that this place seemed to be his home. It feels like Liu Yun's head is almost hopeless. Fishan and Mansion, even if Fishan inlaid 3/4 soul jade fragments, Mansion inlaid 2 pieces, and after Mansion died, Fishan also inlaid those 2 pieces on himself, making a total of 5 pieces. Having said so much, even Inuyasha, who just got Iron Broken Fang and doesn't know any skills, can defeat the 2 of them who are inlaid with the jade fragments of the 4 souls, Although they made themselves miserable, and now they have not snatched the jade of the four souls from Liu Yun fragments, mainly Locunculus doesn't have it himself, how powerful can it be? Normally, Liu Yun was too lazy to take care of it. There was thunder but no rain, so they didn't take Liu Yun seriously. You need to know what level a vixen with 6 tails is, although not as good as 9 tails, 6 tails can basically walk sideways if they don't die. Besides, after 6 tails evolves, it becomes 9 tails, bah, it's a joke. So Tang Yuan took Liu Yun to find the old lair of Thunder Beast brothers aggressively, and because Tang Yuan didn't know the way and Liu Yun didn't remember the way, he couldn't find it and got lost. In the end, he was lucky man Yuan, who didn't know what to do when he came out in the middle of the night, chased them all the way to find out where the two guys lived. I have to say, that guy Fishin really looks like a protagonist. After a few more strokes, the two got lost again, quite simply, because one didn't know the way and the other didn't remember it. Fortunately, Tang Yuan's IQ suddenly went online, and he remembered that he had the Hearthstone from Liu Yan's family. He took out the Hearthstone and rubbed it vigorously, and the two finally returned to Liu Yan's house, and it was almost morning. Wasabi girl, I'm sorry for you! Exclamation mark. Chapter 37 The Old Man. Well, that's it. After 2 or 3 chapters, continue to push the main line of the novel. Note that it is the main line of the novel, not Inuyasha's main line. By the way, 3 o'clock, let's break out, my mutant polygonum dependence! Exclamation mark. Text It seems that you are doing well. Who is speaking? Question mark. Tang Yuan looked around, but all around was pitch black. Let me see, how far you can do it. Who is it? Question mark. Comma, he suddenly opened his eyes and looked around, only to find himself lying in bed. At this time, Tang Yuan remembered that he was leading a group of people outside to collect pieces of the Jade of the Four Souls, and now he was staying at Liu Yun's house. Last night, he went out with Liu Yun to clean up the Thunder Beast brothers, but he came back too late. I'm catching up on sleep, and plan to continue to set off after lunch. Shaking his head, Tang Yuan began to think about what happened to those few words before. Because, since he acquired the skill of meditation, he has never slept again. Although he is in a lying position, he has been using meditation instead of sleep. In other words, he has not slept for an unknown amount of time. I have slept, and I don't know how long I haven't had a dream. When meditating, I am conscious, and I can even perceive the movement around me, and I can stop meditating at any time. However, this time, for some reason, I suddenly came to that dark unknown place during the meditation process, and I heard someone who didn't know who it was. The voice said a few words to himself. There is definitely a problem here. After much deliberation and thinking for a long time, Tang Yuan didn't understand what was going on, so he simply put the matter aside, crawled out of the bed and made the bed, looked at the time, and would eat in a while it's lunchtime, and the sound of wasabi, jiluo, and kagome cooking can be heard from the kitchen. Turning his head around, he saw that Liu Yun was sleeping not far from him. Seeing that he didn't seem to have slept enough at all, he was lying on the ground with his 5 bodies on the ground, and the 6 big tails behind his buttocks were still shaking from time to time. Sleep you paralyzed up high. Duong, AWW. Woke up Liu Yun with a single brain, and asked him to check the time, and Tang Yuan took Liu Yun to the dining room. At this moment, Inuyasha and the old man Mingjio were sitting at the dining table talking about something. Hey, you're finally up. Everyone wasted all morning to wait for you too. Inuyasha glanced at Tang Yuan, and after saying this, he turned his head and started talking with old man Mingjia. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. After all, Liu Yun and I also went to deal with 2 annoying monsters last night. If we follow our path, we will encounter them sooner or later. It can be regarded as me and Liu Yun. Ranunculus worked overtime last night. Tang Yuan sat down at the dining table, poured himself a cup of tea, and drank it all in one gulp, no matter how high-end the tea in it was. Speaking of the way forward, I remembered that we're not going anywhere today, and we are going to find a few companions who can be used. Only then did Tang Yuan remember that it was time for Maitreya and Shenhu to join the team, so he suggested, whatever you want, anyway, it's just wandering around looking for monsters with jade fragments of the 4 souls. Inuyasha said nonchalantly, holding the back of his head, just don't look for some weak guys. Don't worry, they are 2 guys who are not weak. Tang Yuan smiled, even one of them can kill anyone if he doesn't want his life. The premise is that the guy doesn't want to die. Isn't it so fierce? Inuyasha became interested. What kind of guy's he? You'll know when the time comes. We'll go in the afternoon. I just happen to have a way to go there directly. Tang Yuan was talking, and the wasabi girl came out of the kitchen with vegetables, and it seemed that dinner was ready. After eating, Tang Yuan took out a hearthstone and rubbed it vigorously, leading the crowd to the gate of a temple on a mountain. Everyone, look here, look here. Tang Yuan pointed at the gate of the temple and began to blow. This temple has a lot of history, and there are poems to prove it. Once upon a time there was a mountain, and there was a temple in the mountain, and there was an old man in the temple. Monk. Before the poem was finished, an old monk opened the door from the inside, and said to Tang Yuan, "You are telling a story to the young monk, right? You guys have been doing this for decades. If it weren't for the fact that you can barely be considered a good person, I should have dismissed you as a monster long ago. Yo, Mibeo, long time no see." Tang Yuan looked at the old monk who looked quite tough, and greeted him with a smile. "Could it be that you can't find something to do again, so you come to me to fool around to pass the time?" This old monk is Mibeo, who is still alive and well. If you look closely at his right hand, you will find a drawn extremely precise pattern. Master Sealing Rune. Activate the rune. The rune will automatically cast the skill, Master Sealing, on the attachment exchange price. 75 points. It is because Tang Yuan gave Mibeo the master level sealing technique produced by the main god, and Mibeo activated the rune when the wind point lost control in the end, sealed the wind point, and was able to live until now, but I don't know why, probably because Naraku's curse was too harsh. Fengsu and Mibeo were actually a whole. After sealing Fengsu, Mibeo's mana was also sealed, and he became an ordinary person. But it's better than dead. Is there nothing wrong with the seal? Tang Yuan asked while looking at Mibeo's right hand. No problem, no problem. It looks like this seal won't be a problem until I die of old age. It's just a pity that I couldn't find Naraku until now. Hey, I have no choice but to give it to later descendants. At this time, Mibeo looked behind Tang Yuan. Oh, you brought friends. Well, I'm here this time to find your grandson. Maitreya should have practiced well, right? Although that brat is a bit lazy, he is still a sensible child, Mibeo replied with a smile. Hanging up and beating him will make him more obedient. He should have finished reciting scriptures by now, so he is bored in the backyard. What are you doing with him? Let's go in and talk about it. Tang Yuan led the crowd into the temple, and said to Mibeo, I have a way to find Naraku. Mibeo didn't speak anymore, but led everyone all the way to the hall to sit down, and then went to call Meili. Hey, Tang Yuan, what is the origin of that old monk? Inuyasha asked Tang Yuan with a cloudy face after waiting for Mibeo to leave for a long time. I always feel that he is a very scary guy, but his breath is completely ordinary. It's kind of weird. Are you talking about Mibu? Tang Yuan replied to Inuyasha with a smile. He used to be a powerful mage. How strong is it? Probably to the extent that he can beat you, but for some reason, he is just an ordinary mage now. It's just people. Isn't that so? Inuyasha couldn't sit still. Then why did he become an ordinary person? This is a sad thing for others. I can't say it casually. If you want to know, you can ask yourself. Just as Tang Yuan finished speaking, Mibeo led a young man over. He probably heard the conversation between Tang Yuan and Inuyasha. Just say, it's not something hard to say. If you want to know, I can tell you. But, Tang Yuan, you said that you have a way to find Naluo, is it true? Chapter 38. I really want to raise a Micah. This is my grandson, Maitreya. Mibeo pointed to the young man beside him and said, he is a very bad boy, you can just bully him as you like. Hello, everyone. My name is Maitreya. As you can see, I am a sorcerer. Please give me your advice. The young man whom Mibeo said was unworthy of beating seemed very polite. Tang Yuan looked at Maitreya with a smile and said, Hey, Maitreya, you have grown up so much. How are you doing? Do you dare to go on an adventure with me? That's no problem. Maitreya replied respectfully, but for some reason, when Tang Yuan talked to him, his face turned livid. It seems like a childhood shadow or something. Talk slowly, I can no longer participate in this matter, excuse me. Mibeo said, leaving Meili in the hall, and walked out of the hall step by step with her hands behind her back. Guessing that Mibeo had already gone far away, Meili showed his true form. He kicked Tang Yuan with a flying kick, What are you doing here again, you old monster? Haven't you made me miserable enough? And Tang Yuan's reaction here is faster than Maitreya's. The moment he just kicked out, Tang Yuan threw a thought force towards Maitreya, so before Maitreya's kick could reach Tang Yuan, the whole body was in a state of panic, floating in the air and not moving. Next, everyone watched with black lines on their faces as Tang Yuan turned Maitreya upside down with his telekinetic power, and played the taiko master rhythmically on the floor with his head down. It hurts as much as it sounds and looks. Tang Yuan finally let go of Maitreya after finishing the rhythm of a song. The disappearance of Hatsune Miku. This guy is actually still alive. No, it should be said that this guy is still awake. Also 666. Have you accepted it? If you don't accept it, there is another pie song. Although the rhythm is not so fast, it is durable enough to make you feel the charm of being a man. I'm convinced. This time I'll count you as ruthless. The corners of the people's eyes twitched as they watched the interaction between the two. It seemed that Tang Yuan had not dealt with Maitreya once or twice. Cough. Tang Yuan coughed dryly. So, Maitreya, now is the time to save the world. Brave boy, come and create miracles with me. That's right. Saying that, Maitreya turned to Liu Yun and said, Grandma Liu Yun is good. He turned back and continued, I haven't heard what you said, you an old monster in the skin of a young man. How can you say that? My lifespan is contributed by everyone. +1s, they are all voluntary. Young man, you should be responsible for talking nonsense like this. Although he said so, Tang Yuan still quickly put on a serious expression that is rare for him. The opportunity to kill Naraku has come. Maitreya's reaction was the same as Mibeo's, and he didn't reduce his hatred because he had never seen Naraku with his own eyes. Where is that bastard? Calm down. Tang Yuan waved his hand, although we don't know where it is, but we got a good thing, something that Naluo will definitely come to snatch as long as he is still alive. As he said that, Tang Yuan took out the pieces of the Jade of the Four Souls. This is it. You should know about the Jade of the Four Souls, right? Maitreya just nodded, and didn't say much. I know, if it's this, it can indeed lure Naluo out. That's alright. Tang Yuan put away the jade fragments of the Four Souls again. Then Maitreya, what's your decision? Do you want to go on an adventure with me? Grandpa Tang Yuan, cough cough cough. Miley sat up straight and said, maybe I will only call you that once in this life. Please take me with you. Okay, no problem, don't say you don't want to call me that, I don't want to hear it. Tang Yuan stood up, it's not too late, let's set off now, and we have to find another reliable teammate. Maitreya, do you still remember your lovely and charming Coral sister? Oh ho ho ho, are you going to call Coral together? Maitreya changed his face, rushed to the front and led the way. Then let's go, old man. In order to defeat Naraku. Yes, in order to defeat Naraku. So he didn't stay here any longer. Tang Yuan took out the hearthstone of the Eliminator village and rubbed it again and again, and took everyone to teleport to the gate of the Eliminator village. For so many years, the village of eliminating monsters has remained the same, that is, the walls have become stronger. The door was closed tightly as always. Tang Yuan stepped forward and shouted at the tall watchtower inside, Clam. Open the door. Don't hide in sight and keep quiet. I know you're home. At this time, the man on the watchtower looked down and saw that it was Tang Yuan who was leading a group of strange-looking guys standing outside the gate. Enryasha, Kagome, Liu Yun, and Nifajilo. These people seemed to ordinary people in the Warring States period. It's a strange person. The reason why Kagome is lying on the gun is only because of her next generation, relatively speaking, school uniform. For this strange guy who often visited the village, the guard was already used to it, so he ran down and opened the gate to let Tang Yuan in. Master Tang Yuan, welcome. Are you here to find Lord Tridakna? Yes, I'll just go find him by myself. Go on, thank you comrade. Tang Yuan nodded at the guard as if he was a leader to inspect, and then led everyone into the village of exorcising demons. After entering the village, everyone looked at the monster corpses piled up everywhere waiting to be dealt with. After all, the demon masters are all ordinary people. They only rely on harsh training to gain powerful strength to fight monsters and protect human beings. Along the way, Tang Yuan kept saying hello to the demon exorcisers passing by, and led them to the door of Tridakna's house, pounding on the door. Clam. Open the door. Here we come. I knew it was you just by hearing the voice. Tridakna, who is already an old man, walked over and opened the door. "Hey, did you bring a group of people here? Come in, come in. Oh, Maitreya, you are also there. Hey, excuse me, Grandpa Tridakna. Then what, is the coral there? Where are you here? You brat, you've been thinking about my granddaughter all day long. If you're not old, I'll beat you up. You can beat me now, but I won't fight back anyway. How could this Maitreya be so obedient in front of giant clams? Question mark. Maybe it's because Tang Yuan often ran around and Mibao didn't entirely. Tridakna and Mibao are also very familiar. After the 2 generations, Mili and Shan who are also very familiar, they can be regarded as young tame if it is infected. It is considered cheap for Maitreya's grandson. Entering the house, Tang Yuan ignored the giant clams, ran straight to a cat climbing frame, and shouted towards it, "Hey Yunmu! I came to see you." Needless to say, Tang Yuan must have created something like the cat climbing frame in the future, but the real surprise is Micah. She seems to like this cat climbing frame very much, and climbs there whenever he has time climbing up and down. It doesn't look much different from an ordinary cat. Yunmu poked out a small head from the top of the cat climbing frame, and when she saw Tang Yuan, she jumped down with a meow, and climbed onto Tang Yuan's shoulder with a hilu hilu, rubbing against his face with all her strength. Go. How is it, Tridakna? Is the cat food I brought over a while ago useful? Tang Yuan asked with a smile. Cat food? Hey, don't mention it, it was eaten up by Micah after only 2 meals. Isn't it? I gave you a big box. It's not good. I don't know what's so delicious about that thing. Micah actually uses a fighting form when eating. It seems that I can eat more this way, and I finished a big box of cat food in just 2 meals. Chapter 39 Team Gathering. At this time, Coral's father Agate came with Coral and Amber. This is Mr. Tang Yuan. Why do you have time today to get rid of the Demon Master village? Manao asked with a smile. Naturally, I have business to do. I've heard the news about a very powerful monster, and I'm gathering capable partners to join my team. That's why I came to you. A powerful monster. Tridakna, who is listening on the side, asked, is there a time when you can't do anything with a monster? No matter how powerful a monster is, it won't do much for you, right? That's not what it means. Tang Yuan waved his hand. This monster has a relationship with many people, and it even involves the Jade of the 4 Souls. As you can see, most of the people I brought are related to me. That guy has a grudge. As he said that, Tang Yuan walked up to Maitreya, grabbed Maitreya's right hand wrapped with a rosary, and waved it at the giant clam. Could it be? Tridakna hesitated to speak. It's okay to say it directly. Tang Yuan let go of Maitreya's right hand, and wiped his hand on Maitreya's clothes with a disgusted look, and continued to say to Tridakna, it's Naraku. Tridakna pondered for a moment, and Agate at the side called out tentatively, Father. Then the giant clam said, Coral, you go. When Maitreya heard this, he was immediately elated. But Manao refused to accept it. Father, let me go. The coral is too immature. If it's that Nalo, it's safer to let me go. Tridakna interrupted him and said, that's why I asked Shanhu to go. With Tang Yuan here, he will try his best to ensure the safety of the team. This trip will allow Shan to grow considerably. Hu Shan, did you hear that? And, take the Micah too. Yes, Grandpa. Coral nodded. Tang Yuan chatted with Tridakna for a while, and then took a group of people to prepare to leave. Before leaving, he said to Tridakna and Agate, recently, some so-and-so city lord will entrust you to kill some monsters. Ask beforehand, and if the monster is a large spider, take all you can, and be very careful, and especially don't take Amber with you. Tridakna and Agate both expressed puzzlement. Don't worry about it, just treat it as some kind of prophecy. After speaking, Tang Yuan took everyone out. Before leaving the Demon Master's village, he took a group of people to the cave to see Kizzy, and explained to everyone the origin of the Jade of the 4 Souls and the story of Kizzy. Tang Yuan also noticed that when Micah, who was lying on her shoulder, looked at Kizzy's remains, there was an inexplicable look in her eyes. That is its owner who has been dead for hundreds of years. Touching Micah's small head, Tang Yuan waved to everyone, okay, the story is over, let's go back to Liu Yun's house to rest and recuperate, and we will officially start tomorrow. First, he went out of the stalactite cave, and took in Ryasha and Mingjia, who were left outside the cave and couldn't get in. Tang Yuan took out the hearthstone of Liu Yun's house and teleported everyone back to Liu Yun's house. In this way, in addition to Kagome, Inuyasha, Maitreya, and Coral in the original work, there are additionally Tang Yuan, Liu Ranunculus, and Nifugilo in the team. Huh? Is it undercounted? What? What do you want to do with us, little brat? Don't you think your life is too long? Liu Yun shouted while holding Kibeo. I don't care, I don't care. I just want to go with my father. Kibeo threw a splash. So that's it, bear boy. Believe it or not, we beat you. Liu Yun shook Kibeo's collar from side to side. If this happens again, even if your mother stops us today, I will beat you, don't you believe it? Woo-woo. The bear child started to cry loudly. As a result, Wasabi was not attracted by the crying, but Tang Yuan came to watch after hearing Kibeo's crying. Li Yun, what's the matter with you? What's wrong with the child? Why are you hitting him? When Tang Yuan came over, Liu Yun had already spanked Kibeo's ass for a long time. It hurts to see it. Kibeo's the tail was so painful that it blew up. This brat, Sapo, wants to go with us. Boss, come and judge. Liu Yun was probably tired from beating for a long time, and threw away Kibeo, and the brat ran to his mother crying with his ass pouted up. Just go. Right. Let's just say, what? Boss, what are you talking about? Liu Yun widened his eyes and leaned in front of Tang Yuan, looking up at him. This angle looks cute. Hey, the height difference yet height difference. Are you coming here to touch your head? Tang Yuan reached out and touched Liu Yun's head, then Duong said, what are you afraid of when I'm here? Just take the child out to see the world. At the beginning, you were just a weakling who is not much stronger than Kibeo, so you were well protected by me. Huh? That's right. Liu Yun covered his head with a dazed expression. If he kept knocking like this, it would really be hopeless. There is still a lack of a cute character in the team. Liu Yun, if you don't let Kibeo join the team, will you be responsible for being cute? Okay, it seems that Liu Yun is the one who is in charge of showing off the cuteness in the team so far. Cough, cough, cough. Tang Yuan took a look, and the girls went back to work in the kitchen. Inuyasha and Maitreya, two big men, sat at the dining table and didn't know what they were discussing. They seemed to be very excited. From time to time, I saw Inuyasha pounding the table there. After a long time, Liu Yun came out of the room with Kibeo in his arms, and said viciously, you have to listen to us when you go out, or listen to the boss, do you understand? Ah. Kibeo nodded with a seemingly obedient look. Who knows if he really listened to it? Maitreya and Inuyasha seemed to have finished talking over there, and Inuyasha regained his composure. What were you two talking about just now? So high. Tang Yuan leaned over and asked. It's nothing, I'm just telling Inuyasha how my wind point came about. Maitreya said. Then I saw Urgauzi laughing and pounding on the table. Because I also talked about my grandpa's embarrassing things, by the way. Don't tell me, this Inuyasha's smile seems a bit low. When I mentioned that the female monster's body is actually a broken clog, Inuyasha almost laughed. Gotta roll my eyes. Tang Yuan asked Maitreya with a puzzled expression, broken wooden clogs? What's so funny about that? Maitreya replied indifferently, broken shoes. So he saw that Tang Yuan's smile was lower than that of Inuyasha. Dinner is ready. After a while, Wasabi walked out of the kitchen with the dishes. Huh? Brother Tang Yuan is lying on the table and still not moving? Ah, why is the table cracked? It's nothing. Mealy moved Tang Yuan away and touched the table. It was split open by this old thing. The old thing has already fainted from lack of oxygen. Why are you still short of oxygen? Liu Yun also came over. You're laughing. Maitreya felt speechless when he thought about it. Chapter 4720. You are going against the sky. Okay, the water is over, and the main storyline is starting. Inuyasha will let it go for a while, and come back later. By the way, this is the third watch from Mushin Polygonum Dependence Text Boss. What are you doing? Liu Yun looked at Tang Yuan in a trance. He had been in a daze for a long time. Tang Yuan still didn't respond. He is now looking at the pop-up prompt in the lower right corner of his vision. The cracking is complete. This world has been linked with a main god plugin, and can be transferred at any time. It's quite sick, but listening to the address in this sentence, this information should be popped up by the 720 security guard, right? After all, the main god would not call himself a plugin, and it is impossible to pop up a window or something. This 720 security guard is a bit mysterious. Tang Yuan clicked on the transfer button, and found that the interface was still the same as before. It said something about system errors, and there was a return button at the bottom, and then a panel was forcibly added to the right side of the interface. Even the color and font are wrong. It is obvious that it was added forcibly. 720 you win. What is written on the panel is not difficult to understand. Currently connected to the world. Inuyasha equals teleport equals delete equals no more. It can still be cracked. Question mark. Then what did you do in the earlier red alert 3? Question mark. A description pops up. Probably the system was still sleeping or something at that time, but now the system was interrupted for some reason, and started running, and easily cracked the world Tang Yuan is in now. This 720 security guard must be conscious. Question mark. Comma, but having said that, you can actually choose to teleport directly. That is to say, if you want to come back after leaving, you don't have to wait for the main god to randomly reappear in this world. You can directly use this panel that was forced by 720 to teleport return. In this case, why don't you try to leave first? I just don't know how time flows here after leaving. Oh, I was still thinking about it, and the instructions popped up. Probably, the time flow of each world refers to the original world, that is, the world where Tang Yuan was born. As long as that world lasts, these reincarnation worlds will last as long. However, if you enter a certain reincarnation world, because the time in the original world will stop, so if you are in a reincarnation world, except for the reincarnation world you are in, the time of all other worlds is static. Comma, Tang Yuan thought for a while, and felt that he hadn't been home for decades, and he missed his family a little bit. Fortunately, he can bear it for decades. This is also when he was a soldier and he didn't go home for 2 years. If you can endure not going back for a month, you are capable. Thinking of this, Tang Yuan decided to temporarily leave the world of Inuyasha. Anyway, Kagura is probably just a piece of Naraku's body, and she hasn't even been born yet, so why tease? Cough, what an incredible purpose has been revealed. Li Yun, I have something to do, let's leave for a while. After speaking, Tang Yuan stepped aside and opened the teleportation interface. Boss, what's wrong with you? What's the matter? Nothing, I'll be back as soon as I can, After speaking, Tang Yuan disappeared in a flash of white light. Comma, Liu Yun looked at the white light, thinking thoughtfully, before, no matter whether Tang Yuan was using telekinesis or the Hearthstone, he would never be enveloped and disappeared by the white light like this. This time it seems to be different. Oh, don't worry about it, come back early, boss. In Tang Yuan's senses, he has been away from his home for decades, but in the senses of this world, he has only left for a moment. Comma, even outside the window, I could hear my mother still wailing in the backyard, my mother's Tang Fengayu or something, full of grief and resentment, and the resentment reached the sky. There was an inexplicable incompatibility. Tang Yuan even felt as if he was out of touch with the time and space in this world. Fortunately, he teleported back early, but he left for decades. If he stayed longer in Inuyasha's world, maybe the feeling of discomfort will be even worse when I come back. So Tang Yuan squatted in his room and smoked a cigarette, opened the door and ran downstairs. Comma, the old man was still sitting in the living room. He had just lost his temper with Tang Yuan, and now he was smoking one cigarette after another. When he saw Tang Yuan running downstairs excitedly, he asked, "Stinky boy, what are you doing here again, huh? Why do you feel like you have become sensible?" Comma, thousands of grass and mud horses in Tang Yuan's heart galloped past while singing, "We workers have strength." What does it mean to become sensible? Exclamation mark, obviously, the temperament has become mature, right? Question mark, what the hell is it to become sensible? Question mark? It's a good thing he didn't grow a beard, otherwise his father wouldn't understand why Tang Yuan took so long, and when he came down, his chin was full of beard stubble. And, as expected of a dear father, this can also be felt. I'll go out for a while. Tang Yuan left this sentence and went out to calm down. Now he needs to wake up. Maybe this adaptation process will take several days or even a month. Anyway, there won't be any very dangerous events happening on Inuyasha's side recently, and a month's delay can be afforded. Tang Yuan is far away from the villa area. This place can be regarded as far away from the urban area. The surrounding area is very quiet. It's not long after dark at this moment, and occasionally a car will pass by. Except for Tang Yuan, The only creatures here are big moths flying around the street lamps. Call. Tang Yuan leaned against the street lamp and lit a cigarette again. He felt that no matter how hard he smoked recently, he didn't feel any discomfort in his body. Probably his physical fitness has been greatly strengthened. Maybe even if he goes to smoke X now, he won't feel any discomfort. Does not spoil the body. But that's not necessary, and it's even possible that those X products won't have any effect on Tang Yuan's body. So let's smoke cigarettes honestly, add a few drops of bomb. It's better than smoking X-Ma. This is not just for fun. The author personally tested it and went to heaven on the spot. Smokers can try it, but it is said that it is harmful to the body, and I don't know if it is true. One after another, before he knew it, there were countless cigarette butts under Tang Yuan's feet, and 2 or 3 cigarette cases had been lost. Ordinary people would have died if they played like this. The sense of incompatibility was gone, but it was replaced by an inexplicable sense of irritability. Tang Yuan shook his head fiercely, and the speed of smoking accelerated again. At this time, a voice came from the side. "Elder brother." Tang Yuan turned his head and saw his younger sister Tang Xin standing not far away with a small leather bag on her shoulders, looking this way. It happened that Tang Xin didn't go home for 2 weeks. Tang Yuan felt that talking to her would make him feel better, so he went up to her with a smile. "Xia Oxen, why did you come back so late?" Tang Xin looked confused. "Brother, don't you want to ask why?" Tang Yuan seemed to think of something, took out his phone and looked. "Today is not the weekend." "Xia Oxen, why are you back?" Knowing that today is not the weekend, Tang Yuan frowned and asked. I asked for leave." "Really? Why do you ask for leave if you have nothing to do?" "I'm afraid you miss me. Let me tell you first, I'm not interested in anyone younger than me." Tang Yuan walked over and put his arms around Tang Xin's shoulders with a smile, and led her home. Let's go. We can wait until we get home to say anything we want to say. Chapter 41. How did it become an urban fantasy? Tang Yuan brought Tang Xin, who was in a strange state, back home. At this time, the father was still sitting in the living room, but at least he was not smoking. Instead, the old god turned on the TV on the ground, holding the remote control, playing the little game of Tetris that comes with a TV in there. "Dad, you are so free. Dad, Xia Oxen is back." Dad also had the same reaction as Tang Yuan. First he picked up his phone to check and found that today is not the weekend, and then put on a black question mark face. "Girl, why are you back? Aren't you supposed to be at school now?" "Dad, Tang Xin struggled and remained silent. "I'm afraid there are some gangsters bullying you again." Tang Yuan asked. "That's right. In college, there are everyone, maybe there are some who don't have eyes." Tang Xin's appearance can be regarded as half a goddess. "I was once harassed by a few gangsters in the society, and then, you definitely don't want to know what happened to those gangsters." "No, bro, it's not the bastards bullying me." Tang Xin was still struggling. "Hey you girl. Then you are talking about what's going on." The old man was in a hurry. He obviously cared more about Tang Xin, who was both good in character and learning, than Tang Yuan, a son who was just waiting to die. A daughter who is very likely to inherit her career in the future. "Dad, you must not know that I am rich, right? Then I'll tell you." Tang Xin finally said coyly. Tang Yuan and his father looked at each other. "Come on, this chapter will directly use countless ellipses to count the words. I can vaguely hear my mother in the backyard still wailing, my mother's Tang Fengayu or something. I was bullied, so I want to come back and hide for a while." As soon as Tang Yuan heard this, he habitually doing on Tang Xin's head, and then realized that it wasn't Liu Yun, so he quickly hugged Tang Xin into his arms and rubbed her head vigorously. "Didn't you say that no one bullied you? What does that mean? It hurts. I've said it all, the person who bullies me is not a punk." Tang Xin told her story while holding her head. It turned out that just the night before yesterday, when she was reading in the single dormitory until midnight, when she was about to go to bed after washing, she saw the most impressive thing in her life. A silver-haired man in a black windbreaker flew from a distance, by flying! It landed on Tang Xin's balcony. Originally, this could be a story about a fairy falling in love with a girl, and it could have a good ending or a bad ending, but the man's next sentence turned the story in another direction. He looked at Tang Xin, who was stupefied by the scene of him flying over, and said to himself, "Finally, let me find out a good figure." Although it's not the best, it's barely enough. The silver-haired man stretched out his hand to grab Tang Xin, no matter what he wanted to do, but it was not a good thing for a stranger to grab him directly. After realizing it, Tang Xin quickly left the balcony and walked towards the bedroom door. Run outside. Then I heard a voice behind me, how dare you run? Interesting. The moment Tang Xin heard this sentence, she felt a strong sense of crisis coming from behind her. Just when she thought something terrible was about to happen, she heard what? From the direction of the balcony. Immediately after a loud noise, Tang Xin had already opened the bedroom door. When she ran outside and looked in the direction of the balcony, the entire balcony had disappeared. Tang Xin repeatedly checked whether she really did not experience hallucinations, and the students from the nearby dormitories had already rushed over. This loud noise basically woke up the entire dormitory building. In the end, no one knew what happened on the balcony, so someone called the police. The police came the next day, but along with the police was a middle-aged man who didn't look like a police officer. He just glanced at the scene briefly, and then called the team back. Tang Xin would definitely not accept it. I went over to ask what was going on, and the middle-aged man stared into her eyes and said, this involves some secrets, I can't tell you, just treat it as the balcony that has been in disrepair for a long time and collapsed, and if I were you, I would choose to take a leave of absence and come back after this incident is almost over, or never come back and just change schools. Looking at the middle-aged man's appearance, it didn't look like he was joking, and those words were clearly intended to warn Tang Xin, the farther away from here the better. Tang Xin, who was extremely puzzled and frightened, took a taxi directly to the nearest airport, and didn't dare to take the time to book a flight ticket. Just as she was at a loss as to how to go home from other places, she encountered the middle-aged man, he said, was entrusted by his seventh uncle, and led Tang Xin directly into a helicopter, and Tang Xin returned home just like that. Tang Yuan and his father looked at each other again. This development seems to be the rhythm of becoming an urban fantasy novel. Dad, do you believe it? Tang Yuan asked his father. To be honest, Xiaoxin, I really don't believe it. Why did you come back? Dad, what I said is true. Tang Xin cried, I also know that no one will believe this, but this. At this moment, Dad's phone rang. He looked at the screen of the phone, made a quiet gesture to Tang Yuan and the two, and connected the phone. Uncle 7. Hey, yes, Xiaoxin has come back. What? Oh, I see. Okay, I will pay attention. Okay, Uncle Qi, you are busy with your work. I'm going to hang up now. After a few short sentences, the old man hung up the phone. His face became gloomy, and he said to Tang Yuan, it is true. Well, this is really going to become an urban fantasy novel. The group of mud horses in Tang Yuan's heart sang big swords cut off the devil's heads and galloped past from one side to the other. Xiaoxin, you must have been a little bit stimulated, right? Go, take a shower and go to sleep. You will sleep with Mom tonight. Tang Yuan pushed Tang Xin into the bathroom while talking. He didn't express any opinion, just lit another cigarette in his hand. After Tang Xin entered the bathroom, closed the door, and heard the sound of the faucet spraying water, Tang Yuan went back to the living room with a dark face, sat opposite her father, and lit a cigarette as well. The two of them just stared at the smoke in their hands, without saying a word, just kept silent. After a long time, Tang Yuan asked his father, what's wrong? What did Uncle 7 say? Seventh uncle, Dad sighed. Seventh uncle told me to pay close attention to the news these days, and if there is anything wrong, I will take the whole family to avoid it, and he has already made it clear that even if he goes up 2 levels, he will not be able to help us when we encounter this kind of thing. That person seems to have a lot of background, and he is targeting Xiaoxin, that is. I don't know if it's black or white, fuck. Tang Yuan didn't care about being in front of his own father, and cursed with a cigarette butt in his mouth. Would you like to try again? Call Uncle 7 again. I'll try again. The old man took out his mobile phone as he spoke, but the call hadn't been made yet. This time he heard a voice coming from outside the door. It's late. That old guy stepped down 2 minutes ago. The anti-theft door of my home was kicked away by someone. A silver-haired man in a black windbreaker walked in slowly step by step. He glanced at the bewildered Tang Yuan and his father, and said, that one is Tang Xin. What about the little girl? Tell her to come out and let me absorb it. I haven't seen anyone who can escape from me. It's hard for me to find out a good-looking guy. No one can protect her this time. Tang Yuan looked at it, and said to his father, the seventh uncle and grandpa were removed from the stage so quickly, and Xiaoxun's name and address were also found out. It seems that Bai didn't run away. Oh. Dad nodded blankly. It seems that this guy in a black windbreaker with a tuft of silver hair on his head and a protagonist's sense of sight is not a good person. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42. The director specially added an egg for you. It seems, the girl is blown up. I'll try to delete it and repost it to see if it can come out. Text: a black windbreaker, silver hair, and an arrogant face seem to have become the standard configuration that a protagonist should have in a novel. As long as you wear a t-shirt and jeans and feel comfortable going out on the street, then you may not be the protagonist. If your hair is ordinary black, then the chance of you being the protagonist is very small. Then basically you can be sure that you are not the protagonist. Tang Yuan saw this, kicking the anti-theft door away, and yelled at him to hand over his sister as soon as he came in. Absorb, no matter what he is going to do, it is not a good thing anyway. The face of this suspected protagonist who regards Wang Fa as a draft is getting darker and darker. How to do, just like this, to reveal your secret in front of your father, or is there any other way? Tang Yuan's heart was burning with anxiety. Aren't you willing? Seeing that Tang Yuan and Father Tang were both indifferent, the man sneered, lifted his feet and continued to walk towards the back of the living room. Oh shit, if I endure it any longer, I will become a teenage mutant ninja turtle. In a rage, Tang Yuan stretched out his hand and pointed at the man. Spirit burst, huh? WTF? Question mark. At this time, an unexpected person appeared in front of Tang Yuan. Oh? A pretty woman, with an above-average posture. She can make do with it. The man stopped and looked at the woman who suddenly appeared in front of him with great interest. Reverse hair knot. Tang Yuan watched Nifajilo just appear out of thin air, and the grass mud horse in his heart sang forward, 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 and galloped past again. What the hell? Question mark. Why did this product appear in this real native world? Question mark. Aren't you supposed to stay obediently within your Aisha? Question mark. If you talk about messing in, you will be messing with who you are. Question mark. Even the Deadpool guy can only talk to readers in the comics, and I have never seen him jump out of the comics and shout, "Hey, Sun Tse," or something. Exclamation mark. Jilo? Why are you here? Tang Yuan asked, staring at Nifajilo, ignoring that his father on the other side had been in a petrified state for a long time. I don't know, probably because my body is still with you. Nifajilo replied lightly, and then looked at the white-haired man in front of him. You guy, what did you just say? Question mark. Nearly. The white-haired man stroked a strand of white hair on his forehead, and said with a sneer, HMPH, other attorneys. It seems that you have the ability to teleport, right? Which one were you before you returned? Team. Nifajilo didn't answer his question with a cold face, because even she knew that asking what did you say with a puzzled expression at this time was the most stupid reaction. Sure enough, seeing that Nifajilo didn't speak, the man didn't suspect anything, but the smile on his face became colder and colder. Don't you want to say, well, let me absorb you? It doesn't matter which team you are in. Remember, my surname is Leng, and my name is Leng Ruan, Frost and Bing Ruxu. As soon as the words fell, the man whose name was said to be Leng Ruan Frost Bing Ruxu, what kind of J8 name? Follow her to grab it. Nifajilo couldn't dodge in time. He was grabbed by the neck, then as cold as frost in ice as snow, countless red and black tentacles appeared all over his body, wrapping inside. The tentacles kept wriggling, and after a while, Nifajilo didn't even utter a scream, and disappeared without a trace. It's a little strange. Forget it, even if this kind of thing wants to plot against me, there's nothing to be afraid of. Leng Ruhanshuang said, putting away those tentacles, and returning to being like a normal person again. He glanced at Tang Yuan and Father Tang. Are you scared? That's right, after all, you're just a mortal. Dad was indeed frightened, but Tang Yuan's expressionless face was because he was thinking about something in his heart. It is probably not surprising that Reverse Fei Jilo will appear here. It should be because the main body is placed in the storage ring, So although the so-called body that appears outside does have all the characteristics that a body should have, but it is more. There are two characteristics, that is immortality and existence relying on the ontology. Now that Tang Yuan brought his body back to the original world of reality, it is not a strange thing that Nifajilua was forcibly dragged into this world by him. On the contrary, after analysis, it makes people feel very scientific. It seems that the Lord God also didn't say that living things cannot be stored in a storage ring, or is it because the body of Nifajilua is a skull, that is, a dead thing, so it can be put into the storage ring? However, what really caught Tang Yuan's attention was what that Lang Ruhan Frost and Bing Ruxu said. Returner? Which team? That's right, since I have encountered the main god before, it is not ruled out that other people have also encountered the main god. Although they were pitted to death by the main god and squeezed, once they are in the environment of the main god's space, if he survives, he can also have a high combat power. Look at this Lang, Mr. Lang for short. From what this Mr. Lang said, he should have fulfilled a certain condition of the main god and returned to the real world. In other words, in fact, in this so-called real world, have these supernormal existences existed for a long time? Thinking of this, Tang Yuan couldn't help secretly rejoicing that Tang Xin met this guy the day before yesterday, real world time, and she got the main god plug-in this morning, real world time, and then experienced 2 reincarnation worlds, and because there is no restriction of the main god, my combat power has been greatly increased. Otherwise, if I was an ordinary person in the past, now this Mr. Lang came to the door to make trouble, let alone a retired soldier, even a retired special soldier, it is impossible to survive 2 seconds in the hands of this kind of guy. While Tang Yuan was thinking about this, Mr. Lang over there did not stop his movements. His right hand was covered with a bunch of dense red and black tentacles and squirmed for a while, and the whole hand became a fist growing on his arm, the sharp edge. A mortal is a mortal, it's so sad, let me liberate your souls. As he spoke, Mr. Lang walked towards Tang Yuan and Father Tang step by step. At this time, Tang Yuan saw Mr. Lang behind him. Nifajilua appeared out of thin air again, without any signs of being injured at all. But at this time, he also guessed what this Mr. Lang had exchanged for something. It should be the blood of the blacklight virus and prototype. He can't kill Mr. Lang either. Brother A was blown into a puddle of rotten meat by a nuclear bomb, and he can recover with just a few crows. Can you compare to a nuclear bomb? Thinking of this, Tang Yuan smacked his lips unhappily. It seems that he still has to do it himself. I glanced sideways at my father, and found that he was still in the crash state and hadn't recovered. He was really old, and these things beyond his so-called common sense were not something people of his age would be able to accept for a while. It's good that he didn't notice his side. Tang Yuan thought so, and he didn't bother to reach out to point at Mr. Lang as incomparably as before, and directly locked the target with his eyes. The mental explosion was triggered by consciousness. Although he used his fingers, there will not be any substantial increase in power, but it will allow people to subconsciously lock the target to the general direction they pointed in the past. That is to say, it will be easier to aim, but it is also possible to aim with sight, although it is vulnerable to all kinds of distractions. After aiming and locking, the spirit blasts with a maximum effort. Be stupid, you bastard! Of course, even a spiritual explosion can't kill the blood of the blacklight virus, but Tang Yuan didn't expect to be able to kill that guy. He adjusted the physical damage of this mental explosion to the minimum. On the contrary, adjusted the mental damage to the max. So in the ears of other people, the world is very quiet, but in the ears of Mr. Lang, there was a boom in his head, which was louder than the planetary impact. Then the guy just stood there. Tang Yuan reckoned that if this unlucky child was lucky, half of his soul would be shattered, and if he was unlucky, his consciousness might have already collapsed by now. What is the highest level of mental blasting? Let's put it this way. Although the maximum explosion range is only 20 meters in diameter, if all the explosion damage within that range is counted as physical damage, it can shatter everything within the range. Although the blacklight virus is not afraid of being shattered, what people are really afraid of is being burned and other attacks that can directly destroy cells, but they can't stand the low magic resistance, and the mental explosion with the maximum output will all turn into mental damage. How ruthless is that? You can see how ruthless Mr. Lang is when he is still standing there and has no reaction to the outside world. All the cells and blacklight viruses in his body have stopped moving. Tang Tang Yuan pretended to be stunned for a long time, seeing that Mr. Leng was still standing there, probably dead, so he ran to the side and hugged Nifa Jiluo and cheered. Okay. Well done, Jiluo. I didn't expect you to have this ability. Then whispered in her ear, if you don't cooperate with me, I will turn you into a bald head, and I will leave a spot on the top of your head for you. A hair. So Nifa Jiluo forcibly ignored Tang Yuan holding her and the strange feeling of hot air blowing on his ears when he spoke, and only paid attention to the content of Tang Yuan's words. With a stiff expression on his face with a proud look, he said, that's right. Don't even look at who I am. Yes, you are amazing, you are amazing. Tang Yuan put down his reverse hair knot, walked in front of his father, and patted his shoulder. Dad? Wake up, it's over. Dad, are you okay? Only then did the old man come back to his senses, and trembled, hiss, what? Oh, I'm fine, it's fine, it's just that this happened too fast, I can't bear it. Tang Yuan, I didn't expect these things to be, it really exists. As he spoke, he glanced at Mr. Leng who was standing there and had begun to soften slowly. That person must have been beaten to death by this little girl somehow. Well, he must be dead. Tang Yuan nodded, pointing at Nifa Jiluo. Dad, this is my friend, how should I put it? I just got to know him like that, anyway, he is my friend. Oh, okay, friend. The old man is still a little dazed now, and just keeps nodding. Could it be stupid? I can vaguely hear my mother in the backyard still wailing, my mother's Tang Fengayu or something. Mom, you are enough. Chapter 43 The Fallen Chakra. Seeing that his father still didn't understand anything, Tang Yuan shook his head helplessly. After all, it is difficult for an ordinary person with normal 3 views to accept this kind of setting. Come on, anyway, I didn't intend to let others participate in this matter. Besides, Dad is just an ordinary local tyrant, and he is a law-abiding local tyrant who doesn't know how to do bad things. What can he participate in? So Tang Yuan pulled Nifa Jiluo out of the house, didn't know what to say to his father, so he could only keep silent. Glutinous rice balls, wait a minute. Dad's voice came from behind. Tang Yuan stopped and turned to look at him. I don't know what you're doing, but you're not a kid who needs me to worry about. Go, remember, you're my son, you live here. Tang Yuan nodded, I see, Dad. After speaking, he left without looking back. Before leaving, he even took away the body of Mr. Leng with a long name. Father Tang looked at the back of his son who had become so tall and straight for some time, and it seemed that he only realized it at this time. Tang Yuan was no longer the one who immediately reacted to anything and asked in a daze, Dad, what should I do? The child is gone. So, he took a long breath, not knowing whether he had let go of something or lost something, sat on the sofa and lit a cigarette with a melancholy face, and the living room was once again clouded with mist. After a long time, Tang Xin came out of the bathroom wrapped in a bathrobe. Brother. Do you think I look good in this outfit? Hey? Brother? Seeing that there was no Tang Yuan in the living room, Tang Xin walked over to her father and asked, Dad, where did brother go? Did you go back to bed? Father Tang glanced at his daughter, and said calmly, your brother is in a hurry, he went out, and he doesn't know when he will come back. Is there something urgent? Isn't brother working as a security guard in our company? Do you believe it? My father tried to make Tang Yuan's image a little more mysterious, so he asked back. Believe it? Why don't you believe it? Tang Xin nodded her head vigorously. Brother is acting like a fool. I can't imagine what else he can do. I decided to give him a position to eat and wait to die after taking over the company. I feed him. You are really a good sister. Hey, what's wrong with the door of Dad's house? Tang Xin looked at the anti-theft door that flew into the house and was deformed and embedded in the wall. So your brother went out, just for this. Dad? What does this mean? Stay at home these few days, don't go anywhere, and wait for your brother to inform you that you can go to school before you can leave. Father Tang left these words, put out the cigarette butt in his hand, and went to go to the backyard. Crazy woman. Still feeling sorry for your big Tang Fengayu? Forget about that pot of weeds. My daughter was wronged outside, so you sleep with her tonight. Tang Yuan forcibly changed Nifa Jiluo into a set of clothes that looked a little more normal, and she was walking outside with Tang Yuan at the moment. Although it was still night, the things around her that she had never seen made her it was an eye-opener, especially the cars that passed by every now and then, and she thought they were monsters or something. Boss. Boss, is this your hometown? Tang Yuan responded lightly. Probably. Wow, the Western countries are really amazing. I can go back and brag about this for a year. Ignoring Nifajilo, a girl who came from the ancient countryside to the modern city, Tang Yuan took her straight to the local police station. Sure enough, at this time in the past, the police station had already closed and turned off the lights, and there was only one person on duty. However, today, before I got there, I saw bright lights in the direction of the police station in the distance, and I could vaguely hear the sound of the propeller of the helicopter. Tang Yuan took Nifajilo straight to the gate of the police station. Sure enough, there were people patrolling outside the gate, and they were not policemen, but a group of people wearing military uniforms they had never seen before, holding guns they had never seen before. The unknown person is probably insufficient authority, unable to check, or the like, temporarily called Imperial Guards. That one over there, don't cross the cordon. A guard shouted towards Tang Yuan from afar. Tang Yuan took a look. He was still so far away. There were already quite a few Imperial Guards pointing their guns at him. Could this mean they were sure they could hit the target at such a long distance? Interesting. He smiled, took out Mr. Leng's body from the ring, and threw it far away. Mr. Leng drew a big arc in the air and fell into the wall of the police station. I don't know if they regarded Tang Yuan's action of throwing things as a threat. The group of Imperial Guards directly said fire, and then rushed towards Tang Yuan. Well, as expected of insufficient authority, unable to view, so decisive, Tang Yuan looked at the bullets that ding ding dang dang kept hitting on his body. The caliber should be a bullet that he had never seen before, at least, Black technology, pulled out a helpless smile. Wait for someone who knows Mr. Leng. It's better to be a reincarnation, that way it will be easier to communicate. Sure enough, after waiting for a long time, the group of Imperial Guards had already changed several magazines, and a voice came from the fence, cease fire. It sounded like she was still a girl. The Imperial Guards put down their guns one after another and made way for one. Then, a woman also wearing a black windbreaker walked out of the police station. Fortunately, her hair color was normal. It was black, otherwise she would look like Mr. Leng's sister. Is that you? The person who attacked? No. The day before yesterday. The day before yesterday, was it when Xiaoxin met Mr. Leng the night before yesterday? Tang Yuan frowned. At that time, he hadn't got the main god system. According to Xiaoxin, just when Mr. Leng was about to attack her, Mr. Leng seemed to have been attacked by some kind of attack, and even destroyed her. The whole balcony. Who is it? But here, seeing that Tang Yuan didn't respond, the woman thought Tang Yuan was too lazy to answer, and continued talking. I'm not surprised by no. Ziff. When she said this, she looked indifferent, as if it wasn't her teammates who died. To be honest, if it wasn't because the country needed us, no. Would have been executed internally. But anyway, you are now suspected of murdering military personnel. According to our rules, you can be killed on the spot. And then, Tang Yuan chuckled, if that's the case, why are you talking so much nonsense? Just tell me what you want to do. Very good. The woman nodded and pointed at Tang Yuan. I hope you join us, we are national special. No. Tang Yuan refused before she finished speaking. You are also a returnee, right? You know that some people have weird personalities, but unfortunately, I belong to that kind of person, this Mr. Leng. I guess, he likes to use his authority to search for beautiful girls and absorb them? I never thought that you, who serve the country and the people, would actively harm the people. That's just a special case. The woman replied with a stiff expression. Special case? He did this, but he was still not punished by you. Does it mean that in your so-called inside, this kind of practice is actually not a big deal? He came all the way here just to absorb my sister, and with such a large group of people. I'm afraid they came here to suppress the bandits justifiably? That bandit is my sister, right? This one. Let me guess again. Probably my company has been frozen by you now, right? I don't know what the name is. Anyway, it looks terrible. If there is no accident, there will be reports the next day, saying that the whole family went crazy and burned the house down, and none of the whole family survived. Is that right? The woman fell silent completely. You are reincarnators. Little sister. Tang Yuan clapped his hands vigorously. Do you remember that sentence that the Lord God said? Do you want to understand the meaning of life? What does this sentence mean? I asked you to do this. What kind of shit? The meaning of life is to live. You survived so hard, can't you be considerate to others? It's not easy, right? Shut up. You are now suspected of... Shut up for me. When Tang Yuan saw that the woman was already like this and wanted to use her authority to mess with him, she immediately became angry. She felt like a clown after talking so much, so she stretched out her hand and pointed at the woman. Spirit blast. The woman estimated that the blood she exchanged was not the kind of blacklight virus with extremely tenacious vitality. Tang Yuan directly blew up half of her body with a mental blast of physical damage, and the blood immediately flew around. Well, cough, cough, you're finished, I tell you, you're finished. The woman's head was still intact, and she didn't die for a while. The ring on her right hand flashed, and a golden color appeared on her hand. The small ball, that thing Tang Yuan was familiar with, it was the kind of body repair ball with 50 points each. Before she could crush the ball, Tang Yuan pulled the ball over with a thought. Touch another one, I just want to see how long you can last without dying today. You. The woman pointed at Tang Yuan. Before she finished speaking, her neck twisted and she died. Chapter 44-720. There is nothing to say about the subsequent battle. Tang Yuan walked out of the ordinary mountain villa, turned his back to the building like in the movie, and pressed the detonation button in his hand. Pure men never look back at explosions. Boom. Boom. The whole building was wrapped in flames and began to collapse. Tang Yuan lit a cigarette, then waved his sleeves and left, hiding his achievements and fame. Before I had gone far, I heard a roar from behind. Do you think you can run? Looking back, the captain of the returning who was killed by him just now was translucent, surrounded by faint blue flames, rushing towards Tang Yuan. The pure man is anal positive. Tang Yuan waved a mental blast and threw it, adjusting it to the maximum mental damage. However, the captain just trembled all over, and then continued to rush towards Tang Yuan as if nothing happened. It's useless. It's useless. Ha 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 ha. Do you think I just exchanged a few necromancer skills? You're wrong. What I exchanged is lich blood. And it has been upgraded to a high level. Exclamation mark. My soul is extremely tough. Your mental attack is not as painful as a slap in the face to me. Seeing that the situation was not good, Tang Yuan said in his heart, fuck your mother's pure man, and ran away resolutely. It's useless to say it all. The captain laughed loudly, and pressed his hands on the ground. You don't want to go out. Break the magic barrier. With his roar, a huge semicircle appeared on the ground, covering him and Tang Yuan inside. What the hell is this person trying to do with himself? Question mark. Tang Yuan became anxious, and quickly cast a telekinesis towards the outside of the barrier, and failed. Ha. You want to run, right? This demon-breaking barrier can absorb all energy attacks, even your mental power can't penetrate it. The captain laughed like crazy and came behind Tang Yuan. It should be a teleportation skill of the spiritual department, right? You need to mark the target location with spiritual power to guide it. Now your spiritual power can't penetrate outside, that is to say, you can't escape. Tang Yuan took out a hearthstone again. It's useless. This place has been completely isolated from the outside world. As long as it is the transmission of the magic system, it will fail. Well, thank you for your explanation. Tang Yuan rubbed the hearthstone vigorously in front of the captain, but it really failed. Aren't you fierce? The captain approached Tang Yuan step by step. Aren't you going to do justice for the heavens? Don't you want to be a partner of justice? Come on. Be my new body. I make you a hero. Tang Yuan kept throwing a mental explosion on the demon-breaking barrier, and it did have an effect. The color of the barrier gradually faded, but no matter how you looked at it, it was too late. This powerful body, I accept it. In the end, the captain laughed wildly and turned into a black wind, slipping into Tang Yuan's body. Damn it, this time it's my fault. After saying this, Tang Yuan took out a scary thing no matter how you looked at it, a miniature nuclear bomb. Come, Demon King, we will be honored together. After speaking, Tang Yuan was about to detonate the miniature nuclear bomb. The scene was once very tragic. At this time, an untimely voice broke the tragic atmosphere. Beep, intrusion detected by external users, defending, completed. I wipe it. Just as the system prompt rang in Tang Yuan's mind, The captain roared and was ejected from Tang Yuan's body. The system prompts in Tang Yuan's mind were not over yet, and he kept playing one after another with great vigor. Tracing historical traces, completed. Positioning, completed. Anti-invasion, completed. What did you do? The captain pointed at Tang Yuan and yelled hoarsely, and kept scratching his head. This voice, what's going on with this voice? Oh? You heard that too? It looks like the invasion was successful. Tang Yuan put away the miniature nuclear bomb in his hand, made a V sign to the captain, and said with a smile, "You think my gold finger is Lord God? In fact, my real gold finger is this thing. 720 security guards will escort you." "Oh, yes, let me tell you, my 720 security guards have a bad habit somehow, that is, after I was hacked, after its successful defense, it still likes to track the past and counter invasion." You bastard, deleting system files, completed. As this message popped up, the captain screamed and disappeared. The so-called system files should refer to the soul, right? This guy was exchanged for lich blood, and his soul was separated after death. Since the soul was deleted, there was nothing left. This 720 security guard is so powerful. Tang Yuan thought it was over, but he didn't expect that several pop-up windows would appear later. Storage file copying completed. Scanning valuable files, scanning, completed. Warning, Lord God system has launched an invasion of the target, found link files remaining, logging in, completed, found an updatable plugin. View details what the hell? Tang Yuan was once again in a daze. What's going on now? Tang Yuan opened this so-called plug-in update interface. Mysterious disguise. You can choose whether to have a reasonable identity when entering the new world. Task reward system. Different tasks can be issued according to different worlds, and corresponding rewards can be obtained. Extension plugin. Optional. Task penalty system. Task failure will be punished. Classic mode. The system panel will be displayed on the watch with a classic screen, and the watch cannot be damaged or removed. Okay. This can be regarded as improving some incomplete functions, right? 720 You invaded the main god again. This can't be called an invasion. This time you logged in a grand manner. The main god. You are so miserable. You were shot while lying down. After calming down, Tang Yuan updated all of these updatable plugins except the mission penalty system, without saying a word. Update completed. Thank you for using it. Well, you're welcome. After he had nothing to do, Tang Yuan looked at the demon-breaking barrier that still enveloped him inside, and began to blast the spirit blast hard, finally turning the turtle shell into a shell. The barrier was blown apart. Fortunately, this is a mountainous area far away from the world, and no matter how much movement there is, I am not afraid of being discovered. At this time, he looked down at his left wrist. Sure enough, he was wearing a very tall wristwatch. All the mission information was written on it, but the lower right corner of his field of vision was already empty. This is the so-called classic mode, classic interface, right? Sure enough, classic enough. Tang Yuan sat down on the same spot and familiarized himself with the operation of the watch. He still felt that there was not much difference. He could point with his fingers or give instructions with his mind. The advantage is that a certain interface can be displayed all the time without affecting the normal field of vision. In the past, clicking on an interface in the lower right corner of the field of view fully blocked half of the field of vision, whether it's in battle or in normal actions. It's very cheating. It seems that this so-called classic mode is still good. Then it's time to try these other new functions, and you can also go to other worlds for a walk. Why not do it? Almost forget that you are a person who wants to become a profiteer. Although the points are almost tens of millions now, he hasn't even got a resource point. The real good things are all in the exchange of resource points. Very good. Continue to make money everywhere in one go. The goal is to exchange 2 golden cudgels to use as chopsticks. With that in mind, he clicked on the transfer interface. Game World, Super Mario Bros., Resident Evil 1, God of War, Soul of Sparta. Movie World, Alien 1, Predator 1. Anime World, none. How should I put it? It's worth complaining about. What the hell is Super Mario Brothers? And the movie world is directly side by side with Alien and Predator. What is it going to do? If you add another Alien versus Predator, you can dominate the screen together, you know. Tang Yuan looked at it, stretched out his hand without thinking, and selected one of the worlds. Chapter 45 Resident Evil. Reincarnation World, Resident Evil 1. Time point. Team A of the STARS team is on its way to investigate the reason why Team B lost contact. Reincarnation status, accompanying reporter. Main task, follow either Chris Redfield Jill Valentine, do not leave the target within 100 meters, otherwise %at, if you follow Chris Redfield, then Rebecca Chambers must survive, or %at, if following Jill Valentine, Barry Burton must survive, otherwise %at. After completing the main task, you can get, points, hey, Tang Yuan. If you continue to sleep, I will put hot sauce in your chrysanthemum. Tang Yuan, who was sleeping, was woken up by a slap in the face, and when he opened his eyes, he saw a young man with one hand grabbing his collar, and raising the other hand for another slap. These two young men are so familiar. Note, Chris. Tang Yuan tentatively said the name. Call Officer Redfield. Seeing Tang Yuan woke up, Chris let go of his collar and sat back on his seat. Really? Why did the higher-ups let us bring such a strange guy? They said they were accompanying reporters, but in the end they only brought a DV player with them. You reporters, you really should learn from the reporters in the East. Ignoring Chris's broken thoughts, Tang Yuan touched his face. I have to say, this is good after strengthening, although he felt someone slapping himself hard, but it didn't hurt at all. He looked around. Find yourself in a helicopter with a group of people. That's right, I'm a reporter now, and I'm following STARS Team A to go to the Acre Mountains to perform a mission. The mission content is roughly that I lost contact with a B team when they went to the Acre Mountains to investigate the wrecked train a day ago. So Team A came to investigate why Team B lost contact. This really feels like a gourd baby saving grandpa, one by one to send. If there's still a Team C, is it true that Team B will be wiped out before continuing to send? Team C? After the C team is completely wiped out, send another D team. Shaking his head, Tang Yuan yawned. There's nothing worth doing in Resident Evil 1, just take it as a wondering, maybe. Thinking of this, his eyes flashed. Maybe you can try to drastically modify the plot to pave the way for the following generations of Resident Evil. The feeling of manipulating the plot is still very cool. Well, worth a try. Thinking of this, Tang Yuan glanced at someone sitting not far away. The man was wearing a black tactical vest, with a golden back, and a pair of sunglasses at night. He really pretended to be. Yes, this guy is the famous Albert Wesker. By the way, Uncle Wei, can you really see clearly wearing sunglasses at night? Wesker was thinking about something with his head down, but when he felt this gaze, he raised his head and found that Tang Yuan was looking at him, and said, "Don't worry, Mr. Tang, this mission is very safe." What a ghost, Tang Yuan cursed in his heart. If it's really safe, there are more than 10 people in Team A and Team B, and only 5 people left alive in the end. Uncle Wei, don't keep staring at me, I'm not gay, go find your William by yourself. Acre Mountain. How far is it? Tang Yuan asked casually, looking at the big forest below the window. Why do you think I'm waking you up? It's almost there soon. Chris replied angrily, then lay down on the window and looked out. It didn't take long before they found the wreckage of the helicopter on the ground. That's it. Brad, land there. Chris shouted towards the driver's seat. Brad responded, and drove the helicopter to find an open space in the forest not far from the wreckage of the plane of Team B, and parked it firmly on the ground. After checking the weapons and equipment, the group of people got off the plane one after another. Tang Yuan picked up the DV player on one side, it is said to be his own, maybe it was sent by the Lord God, and got off the plane. Originally, he also wanted to take out a gun, but after thinking about it, it seems that in this situation, in the event of a possible battle, the accompanying reporter is not allowed to carry a gun. Note, so forget it. Anyway, he has basically become a magician who uses superpowers as output, and whether he uses a gun depends entirely on his mood. After getting off the plane, everyone rushed towards the previously determined crash site. Tang Yuan glanced at the guy with a red turban not far away. This guy seems to be called Joseph. If I remember correctly, he was the first person to get a box in the first game of Resident Evil. In the first generation of the game, there was no character modeling, only appeared in the opening CG. After finding the crash plane, Joseph will probably be surrounded by a group of zombie dogs, and die every day. Bah, the carotid artery was bitten. Just when Tang Yuan was on an errand, Chris on the side came over and pushed him. and said, "Hey, aren't you a reporter? Come and take a picture for me." As he spoke, he posed a picture that was said to be very cute shape. "Sorry, when and what photos should be taken is up to the reporter." Tang Yuan replied lightly, but he still turned on the DV. "Come on, little brother, stand here at the helicopter hatch." "Oh yes. Right here, stand up." "Who the hell called you V-hand? Seriously, you are on a mission." Sure enough, he is a second-handed youth. He looks even more second-handed than a V-hand. After taking the photos, Tang Yuan followed a group of elite cops, and before walking far, he saw the wreckage of the plane lying in the distance. The wreckage beside him. "Hey, here, I found something." Everyone walked towards him unhurriedly. Tang Yuan knew what was going to happen, had a plan in mind, and ran over quickly. Seeing him running over, Joseph pointed to the cockpit of the helicopter and said, "There seems to be something in it. Wait a minute, let me take a look." As he spoke, he flashlighted into the damaged cockpit, and then he saw the tragic death of Kevin, the helicopter pilot of Team B. "Oh my God!" Joseph yelled and fried on the spot, and before he could recover, a few black shadows sprang out from the bushes and rushed towards him. The people in the distance hadn't reacted yet, but Tang Yuan could see clearly from a close distance. They were a few dogs that were almost rotten, with not much fur left, and the muscles and internal organs were all exposed to the air. Dogs. Seeing that Joseph hadn't reacted yet, when he was about to be killed by some dogs, Tang Yuan made a decisive decision, kicked Joseph's ass with a flying kick, and kicked him several steps toward his teammates far away. I also ran towards that side. "We can't fight yet, otherwise the group of cops will become suspicious. No matter what, we have to wait in the mansion." Joseph was staggered by Tang Yuan's kick, but because of this, he also escaped the pounces of several zombie dogs. Seeing Tang Yuan running towards his teammates, he also followed Tang Yuan. After the two ran back to the team, Wesker said, "Fire." Everyone raised their guns and shot at the zombie dogs. Although the zombie dogs had tenacious vitality, vital force, she was coquettish, but she couldn't bear the gunshots, and was hit in the head by several bullets, and fell to the ground without a sound. Just when everyone breathed a sigh of relief, Brad yelled and flew away in the helicopter in the distance, as if he had encountered some terrible monster. Note, Brad, come back to me. Chris yelled, but the helicopter flew farther and farther away. Everyone looked at the helicopter gradually becoming a small dot in the sky with embarrassment, and they were speechless. At this time, several zombie dogs came running. Seeing this, Wesker had a plan in mind, and shouted, "There is a mansion near here. Everyone, go here. Hide in that mansion." So a group of people ran to the mansion out of breath again. At this time, Tang Yuan found that Chris had accidentally wandered off and gradually left the team. Note, what should I say? Are you worthy of being a second-rate youth? No way, the main god may increase the difficulty at any time. If Chris still acts alone like the original work, he is likely to be killed by the main god. If he dies, who will be the protagonist of the 5th and 6th generations? So Tang Yuan made a decisive decision and left the team, chasing after Chris. The reincarnation chose Chris Redfield. The main task has been changed. Please do not leave the target 100 meters away, otherwise %. Rebecca Chambers must survive, otherwise %. After completing the main task, you can get, points. The failure penalty plugin I didn't install. Task failure shows garbled characters. Tang Yuan smiled with malice all over his face. Lord God, you bastard, you cheat me, you come cheat me, what are you doing to me? End of this chapter. The author's nonsense time. Note, the first generation of Resident Evil was a CG filmed by real people. At that time, Capcom in Japan hired a group of American students to film this. The actor of Chris was a young man, completely different from the Uncle Chris of the 5th and 6th generations. When the characters were introduced in the opening scene, Yuri even lit a cigarette with a look of ecstasy. A breath of second-handed youth came over her face. Uncle K, calm down, stop, don't hit. Oh, it hurts. Note, find out why journalists can't carry weapons, especially war reporters. Although Tang Yuan can't be regarded as a war reporter, in fact, the main reason he did this is to avoid arousing suspicion from everyone. After all, he is an accompanying reporter, but for no reason and no warning, he took out a gun to participate in the battle. The origin of this guy is also worth thinking about. Note, Helicopter pilot Brad left everyone in the helicopter and ran away because he was cowardly. This is beyond doubt, but there is a problem. The incident happened far away from the place where he landed the helicopter and was on standby. At a certain distance, it is impossible for him to know the situation on the other side of the crashed plane. The only thing that makes sense is that he was also attacked there, and he, who is a coward but an elite policeman, leaves his teammates and runs away. There are only uncommon things. The forest is full of zombie dogs. Note, in the game, if the player chooses to control Jill, then Jill, Barry, and Wesker enter the mansion through the gate, and if the player chooses Chris, it means that Chris, Jill, and Wesker enter the mansion through the gate. However, according to the plot of the official novel, it was Jill, Barry, and Wesker who entered the mansion through the gate, and Chris was separated from the team when he was evacuated to the mansion, and entered the mansion from other places. Here I chose the plot of the official novel. Then it's time for the author to talk nonsense. Regarding Resident Evil, I am a firm gamer. For movies, I can only say that the special effects are good. Paul Anderson ruined the plot of the Resident Evil game so badly that he finally gave an explanation of parallel worlds. It's a parallel world, so I don't bother to watch your movie. I only watched 1 or 2 of the Resident Evil movies carefully, but the latter ones, I just didn't see them. The movie series is finally going to play, but the game series will always come out. I guess Paul's idea is very simple, that is, no way, the script of Resident Evil is really impossible to write, let's just end it. That's it, Paul, you are a fucking talent. It's not a war, it has nothing to do with the so-called superiority of the game party, but the plot of the movie is really not good. By the way, I heard that the next step is to destroy Monster Hunter. What the hell? And then there's, well, December 12th, well, see you all next year. Chapter 46. Somewhat above me. So Tang Yuan followed Chris into the mansion through a small side door, while Jill, Barry, Wesker, and Joseph, who was rescued by Tang Yuan, entered the mansion through the gate. Looking at Chris lying on the wall panting, Tang Yuan was about to say something when a message popped up on his watch. Joseph Frost survived, the side plot was completed, and, points were awarded. Ouch, even the function of the branch plot is preserved. He saved a lunchbox and got, points. To be honest, these, points are nothing to Tang Yuan now, but it is equivalent to a free gift. Don't want. Looking at the watch, there were no more prompts on it, so Tang Yuan looked at Chris. This guy was still leaning against the wall and panting hard. That's enough, that's enough. Thanks to you, you were in Air Force before. Tang Yuan just kicked his ass in the past. It's only after running so far that you're panting like this? Kidney deficiency or something? Panting, fuck you, uncle, for a few hundred meters. Panting, sprinting at full speed. Panting, you can't take a breath. Panting, you, is it a human? Me. Tang Yuan pointed at himself, and started bragging. The Middle East is a good place. I was there as a guest reporter for the war, but I forgot about it when the army retreated. I lived alone for more than 2 months under the eyes of those white turbans. Let me tell you, why didn't I write that experience into a memoir? It's because no one would believe it. Do you believe it? No. Chris shook his head. Well, I'm actually joking too. I can't beat the poor land in the Middle East. As he spoke, Tang Yuan pointed behind Chris. Look, who is this? As soon as Chris turned his head, he saw a person dressed in rags, covered in blood, and most of his body was rotten, staggering towards this side. Hey, are you okay? He asked, walking towards the person. Tang Yuan looked at the actions of these 2 aggressive youths, lamented that ignorant people are fearless, and reminded him, be careful, I feel that there is something wrong with this person. What's the problem? Chris said, walking up to the person and reaching out to support him. What's wrong with you? Don't be afraid, I'm the police. This person let out a low moan that sounded like he was in a bad physical condition. Hey, are you okay? Chris was still supporting the person, completely unaware that he was trying to die. This person raised his head, and when Chris saw his appearance, he yelled, oh my god. Then he flew up and kicked this person in the stomach. Tang Yuan, it seems that I heard a click. What else can he see? The face is almost rotten. It looks like it's like eating. What the hell is this? Chris pointed at the person paralyzed to the side, and called out to Tang Yuan. You ask me? How do I know? Tang Yuan spread his hands, then pointed behind Chris. Look, who is this? When Chris turned his head again, he saw the man on the ground struggling and crawling towards this side. His lower body was motionless, and thinking of the click just now, it was probably a bone that had been dead for a long time and was not very strong. Kicked by Chris and broke, well, the spine. What the hell is this? You still haven't died after kicking your spine. Chris took out his pistol and hit the monster on the ground a few times, but because it didn't hit the head, the monster just roared a few times and didn't stop and continued to climb towards Chris. Brother, have you seen the movie? Remember that this thing has to start. Tang Yuan took out the M1911 with infinite bullets, only played once, remember, facing the head of the thing on the ground as there was a collapse. If you have seen the movie, you should know that this guy is called Zombie. After being hit on the head by Tang Yuan, the zombie fell to the ground with a slap and fell silent. This time it was really dead. Oh, I see. Chris changed the magazine, and only then did he notice the pistol in Tang Yuan's hand. Wait, where did you get the gun? Aren't you a reporter? Reporter. Tang Yuan threw the DV player to the ground. Fuck that reporter. You told me not to carry a gun, but to carry a video camera after this shit happened? I quit. Guns, that's all about it, have you forgotten? Tang Yuan pointed to his attire, a white and big black coat. Guess what I'm hiding in here? Believe it or not, another Italian cannon for you. Chris looked at the reporter who said he would quit, just shook his head and waved his hand at him. That's fine, come this way. To be clear first, since if you're armed, I have no reason to protect you. Okay. Tang Yuan nodded. Just kidding, I've been through a lot of battles, need you to protect me, I almost protect you. The two began to explore in this mansion. For this mansion, Tang Yuan's feelings are very simple. That is, I have a saying that I don't know if I should say it or not. This mansion has been repaired like nothing else. Question mark, not to mention the complicated structure, but also various locked doors. It's okay to lock it, but Tang Yuan really wants to ask these researchers who are dying in peace, how do you usually live? Question mark, everyone put the key of the door of this room in that room, and put the key of the door of that room in other rooms. Thank you for remembering. As expected of a researcher, the brains of science students are better than those of liberal arts students or something. Question mark, how embarrassing is it that you let Lao-Tzu fall in love with a liberal arts student? Exclamation mark. So when Chris was at a loss when he encountered a locked door, Tang Yuan came in handy, flying up, regardless of whether you are a locked door, as long as you are not the database gate underground at the Pentagon, you are considered a bank. I can kick open the vault gate for you. So along the way, Tang Yuan simply and rudely repeated the steps of kicking the door, and continuing to kick the door. The progress of the game was rapidly completed. Chris on the other side began to wonder if there was something wrong with his worldview. Hey, Tang Yuan, are you really just a reporter? I never said I was a reporter. Do you want to hear the truth? Tang Yuan spent 2 seconds making up a story in his mind, and then asked Chris with a mysterious expression. Sure enough, the two young men kept nodding their heads. Let me just say, if the reporters have your fighting power, what's the use of using our notes? Okay, you heard clearly, I'll just say it once. Have you heard of the research center under the Pentagon? Tang Yuan said. Chris shook his head. So have you heard of the Super Soldier Project? Then Chris said with a livid face, Boss, I was wrong, you better stop talking, I don't want to know, I'm afraid you will shoot me to death after you finish speaking, I'm really not interested in these secrets, I haven't married a wife yet. You didn't marry a wife? That's really gratifying. Tang Yuan stopped looking at Chris, but continued to open the door repeatedly, saying, Anyway, the higher authorities sent me come to find out the secrets in this mansion. What is known so far is that there is a large research facility underground in this mansion. It seems to be researching some biological weapons, and I was sent to destroy it. Don't be afraid, I said these are not very high-level secrets. Anyway, after you go out, there is nothing left here, and you don't have the courage to talk about it. Oh. So he succeeded in fooling around like this. Sure enough, the second-handed youth is easy to deceive. Chapter 47 IN number 039, am a good person anyway. Tang Yuan and Chris went all the way, and finally met two living people in a corridor on the second floor. That's right, it was Rebecca and Richard who was lying on the ground half dead after being poisoned by the snake. Oh my mother, finally let me meet two living people. Tang Yuan saw a girl in front of him, immediately regained his energy, and ran over in a frenzy. Rebecca was sitting on the ground looking at Richard lying on the side dying. When she was at a loss, she suddenly heard the sound of dong 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 footsteps, so she raised her gun and pointed in the direction of the sound without saying a word. Period. Pointing to look, it was a young man in a thick black coat. Judging from his hair color and face, he should be an Oriental man. This man was stunned when he saw her pointing a gun at him. At least it seemed that he was not one of those monsters. Little sister, don't be afraid, I'm a good person. Put the gun down. Yes, put it down. It won't be fun if it goes off, right? Tang Yuan saw Rebecca pointing the gun at him. There was only one decision at the moment, a standard surrender posture, with a smile on his face. Although a small pistol can't do any effective damage to him, it's Tang Yuan's bad taste to play tricks in front of girls. Who are you? What are you doing here? Rebecca put down her gun anyway, and her face became less vigilant, staring at Tang Yuan Dao. That's a good question. Tang Yuan waved his hand behind him. Chris, come here, this way, see? Do you know this little sister? Chris ran over and saw that it was Rebecca, and asked, aren't you the rookie in Team B? What happened to Richard? It seems to be seriously injured. Squad A's, Chris. Rebecca relaxed completely after seeing that it was Chris, and glanced at Richard. Richard, he was bitten by a huge snake. Poison. But I dropped the serum in other places. His condition is not optimistic. I have to take care of him at all times. Just in time, you are here. Can you help find the serum? It felt like the NPC who issued the mission. Tang Yuan's eyes twitched, and he squatted down to look at Richard's arm. The wound wasn't big, so it wasn't serious in terms of the injury alone, but the snake venom was more troublesome. Although it wasn't as poisonous as those that would die quickly, it was still life-threatening anyway. Oh, what serum are you looking for, little sister? If you met me, it means that we were destined for each other in the previous life. Come, take this. Anti-venom serum, a serum specially made by the Lord God Dimension, which can treat common general biological toxins. Exchange price, points. It is worthy of being produced by the Lord God Space. It can be said directly that common biological toxins can be cured, no matter what type and infection method. Brother, can you eat puffer fish with peace of mind after taking a dose of the serum? Come on, little sister, do you know how to use this? Tang Yuan pretended to reach out to take something out of his pocket, exchanged it for an anti-venom serum, touched it out and handed it to Rebecca. Give him a shot. This. Rebecca picked up the serum and looked at it for a while, with doubts on her face. There is no label paper on it. Are you sure there is no problem? Sorry, I can't just inject patients with unknown sources. I'm really sorry that I don't know the origin of this thing. Fortunately, Chris covered up Tang Yuan's embarrassment at this time. It's okay, let's give Richard an injection. Although this strange guy's origin is unknown, he is still a friendly army at present, so he won't use this method to deceive people. Now that Chris said so, Rebecca nodded and injected Richard with a serum of unknown origin. Then the complexion of the strong man returned to rosy at a speed visible to the naked eye, and even the 2 holes on his arm bitten by the big snake began to ooze blood. It means that the snake venom is gone, and the serum takes effect too quickly, right? Well, after all, it is something produced by the main god. Although it is indeed used to treat poisoning, but who knows if this is a real serum? Maybe it was just packaged into a serum by the Lord God. This is so effective. Rebecca couldn't believe it when she saw this scene, but she still bandaged Richard's wound a few times, then stood up and stared at Tang Yuan. What's your name? Which department? What are you doing here? Tang Yuan tilted his head when he saw this little girl who suddenly became energetic. What are you doing? At this time, Chris hurried forward to catch Rebecca aside and whispered a few words to her. God knows what he said. Anyway, when Rebecca came back, she started to use a very strange look. He stared at Tang Yuan, but he didn't ask him any more excitedly. Well, state secrets or something. This should be the latest research result, right? Although Rebecca was not so excited, she still tugged at Tang Yuan's sleeve and asked, does this mean that it won't be long before this super powerful serum is released? Energy produced? What the hell? Little sister, did you misunderstand something? Tang Yuan reached out his hand to touch her head, then suddenly remembered that this was not Liu Yun, so he withdrew his hand resentfully, and continued, I'm not a secret department people. What? Chris's face was not right, and he leaned over. Then what you said before is under the Pentagon. I lied to you. Tang Yuan spread his hands. Is it only a young man like you who would believe it? Ugh, Chris was hurt. Then what are you? Rebecca heard that Chris had been deceived, so the person in front of her was not from some secret research department, so her curiosity arose. So why this group of people just don't understand what a secret is called a secret because it can't be told. Some things can't be asked casually. Fortunately, Tang Yuan is the kind of person who is easy to talk to. If he changed to someone with a slightly colder face, and just replied none of your business, wouldn't the atmosphere become very awkward? Question mark. Cough. Well, I am indeed not someone sent by the higher authorities, but you don't have to be afraid. Generally I am a good person. Tang Yuan wiped his hair and put on a serious face. I am a very powerful mysterious person. People, that's it, don't laugh. And this time I pretended to be a reporter to follow you on a mission. I originally planned to follow you to the Acre Mountains, and then quietly ran away while you were doing your investigation mission. Come here inside the mansion. There is indeed a research facility under the mansion. My goal is to steal the information inside and sell it at a high price. As long as you don't hinder me, I'm my own. This. Chris looked skeptical. Is it true? You won't be lying to me again, are you? Yeah, it's indeed fake. Tang Yuan spread his hands. What? You want to beat me? Let me explain first. You will never beat me. Tang Yuan waved his hand to one side, and walked in front. Let's go. Anyway, don't you want to reveal the secret behind this mansion? I'll take you to the Underground Research Institute, and by the way, let me tell you a secret. Chris, Rebecca, and Richard all looked at Tang Yuan intently, wanting to hear what this so-called secret was. Want to know? Okay, let me tell you, the reason why your A and B teams came here is because of a trap. Someone sent you here to die. As for the purpose, I don't know. Also, there is a mole in your stars, but fortunately, there is only one mole. You can guess who it is. Hearing such information from Tang Yuan, all three of them changed their expressions. They were both shocked and angry. Chris clenched his fists, and his brows were tight into a knot. It's because of this, that's why we were brought here to fight these monsters. Don't let me know who the traitor is. Then he looked at Tang Yuan suspiciously again. Hey. Could it be you who made up this to deceive people again? Tang Yuan saluted with a smile. I guarantee it with my personality, it's true. However, we don't know how much your personality is worth. Rebecca said lightly, even the three of us except Chris, Richard and I don't even know your name, and we can't be sure. Is the name Chris knows his real name? Tang Yuan, this is my name, you can call me whatever you want. Tang Yuan smiled at Rebecca, but if it's you, little sister, you can call me Big Brother. It's against the law to harass the police. No, it's against the law to harass women. The little girl frowned. Don't get excited, okay, don't hit me, I'd better act alone. Hey. Stop. Rebecca yelled, looking at Tang Yuan's back, but Tang Yuan ignored her, dropped a big backpack, and ran away in a hurry. The speed made the three of them stop chasing thoughts of the past. Rebecca stomped her feet angrily, then picked up the backpack that Tang Yuan had dropped on the ground, and opened it to take a look. It contained several assault rifles and a large pile of magazines. This guy is quite generous. As she spoke, she took out a gun from inside and stuffed several magazines into her body. No. Chris scratched his head in confusion. Did you notice, that guy didn't have a backpack on him before? Where did this backpack come from? Oh. Rebecca realized it when she heard this, and asked Richard on the side. Speaking of which, did you see him carrying this backpack? Richard shook his head. The three of them looked at each other, wondering where Tang Yuan's backpack came from. It was impossible to guess the origin of this backpack in their worldview. Chapter 48. What do you think I am number 039 am here for? What Tang Yuan is interested in is not everyone's wonderful adventures. What he is really interested in is the information in the Underground Research Institute and Wesker, who is hiding there now. So he directly threw some weapons and sufficient ammunition to the three of Rebecca, and then ran away by himself. Even the Lord God reminded him that Richard Aiken survived, the side plot was completed, and he got 100 points. And, warning, the distance between the Reincarnation and Chris Redfield is about to exceed, meters. If it exceeds the mission range, will be ignored by him. He just smiled at the previous reminder, and didn't care about the, points that are better than nothing. As for the next reminder, his smile was full of malice. Lord God, are you trying to kill me? If you want, then you can say it. How do I know if you don't tell me? If the Lord God had thought, he would definitely rush to Tang Yuan and slap him. He simply and rudely kicked through the door all the way, and when he encountered a roadblock or an impassable place, he used telekinesis to go through the wall to pass, and soon he came to the Underground Research Institute, looked at the map posted on the side, and found the owner. After finding the location of the laboratory, he rushed there. At this time, Uncle Wei is probably still wandering around in the mansion. After all, he still has to check the combat data of the STARS team and biological weapons. Thinking, Tang Yuan came to the gate of the main laboratory, looked at the locked gate, and a telekinesis teleported in. Looking around, it turns out that Wesker is not here, only a tall humanoid creature floating in a huge petri dish. Well, I'm not sure if it's still a creature. Tyrant. To be precise, it is Tyrant 002. Except for the only weakness of the heart being exposed outside the body, other aspects can be said to be perfect. But if I have to say it, maybe because of the serious decay of the whole body, I can say it's not impossible that it's still defective. Tang Yuan tried to detect it with his spiritual power. The tyrant is still in a deep sleep, and his mental power has no fluctuations. When it comes to spiritual power, this does not mean that a tyrant is also a superpower, because as long as it is a thinking creature, it has spiritual power. There is such a thing as force, but most people cannot sense and control it. A superpower like Tang Yuan who uses mental power as a weapon can determine the general mental state of the target by sensing the opponent's mental power, and even if his mental power can continue to be strengthened, he can upgrade 2 levels from the main god. There are skills called mind reading and mind control. You can tell the function of these 2 skills just by listening to the names. If you want to make an analogy, it is Yuri in Red Alert 2. Having said so much, but the premise is that one must strengthen one's own mental strength, which is directly related to the control efficiency and range of mental power, and this can only be exercised by oneself, and cannot be directly exchanged for strengthening from the main god, so that although the 2 skills are displayed on the upgrade interface, they also have the label, not eligible, cannot be upgraded. Oh, this is such a pity. I originally wanted to accept a tyrant as my younger brother. Tang Yuan sighed, pointed at the tyrant's head, and sent out a slightly gentler mental explosion, full amount of mental damage. So under Tang Yuan's deliberate control of power, this mental explosion did not directly shatter the tyrant's soul, but successfully destroyed its consciousness, and the surrounding instruments all said, "This bread is fine, nothing happened." Period. After doing this, Tang Yuan sat down in front of the computer beside him with a relaxed expression, turned on the computer to see if there was any valuable information. Then, sure enough, because of the password, he was directly stopped on the welcome interface and could not move forward, and he didn't know whether the system of this computer was specially made or what happened. There was a prompt under the password input box, which roughly means that if you enter after more than 3 wrong passwords, the Research Institute will activate the self-destruct system. Simply praise. Now Tang Yuan has nothing to do, so he can only sit on the side and smoke. Calculating the time, it is probably past 3 o'clock in the morning, and according to the CG helicopter flying towards the sun at the end of the game, Wesker will come here in a short time and start monitoring the entire laboratory. What Tang Yuan needs to do is to wait for Wesker's arrival, then pretend to be a wave of coercion, and then pave the way for the plot of the biochemical sequel. Although he can't control the general plot, some small details can be followed. His own arrangements to develop. Wesker did not disappoint Tang Yuan. After Tang Yuan smoked half a pack of cigarettes, he walked into the main laboratory step by step as if he was taking a walk. Look at the way he walked, seems to be in a good mood. Yo. Mr. Wesker, solves Enrique's serious problem, doesn't it make you feel 10 years younger? Tang Yuan sat on the chair, looked at Wesker who came in, and said with a smile. The moment Wesker saw Tang Yuan, his whole body froze for a moment, then he regained his composure, and just stretched out his hand to straighten his sunglasses. Mr. Suddenly a reporter asked for a colleague to come. You really have a problem. As he said that, as if he didn't care at all, he walked to another chair not far from Tang Yuan and sat down, turned on the computer, and then tapped on the keyboard with both hands. He called up the monitoring screen, in which he could see Chris, Rebecca, and Richard moving in a group. On the other side, he could also see Jill, Barry, and Joseph, and they could see the direction they were going, seems to be converging soon and become a team. Well, Mr. Wesker, you don't seem to be in a panic? Let me guess, do you have something to rely on? Tang Yuan pinched out the cigarette butt in his hand, lit another cigarette, and looked at the slowly rising smoke. Bai Wu said, the big guy locked in the big glass tube. Oh, with all due respect, I feel that if I feel safe just because of such a biological weapon, I will look down on you. HMPH. Wesker rested his chin in both hands, looked at the stars team that had converged in one place on the screen, and smiled calmly. It doesn't matter anymore, Mr. Tang Yuan, considering that you will soon be with that group. People end up the same way, and I can tell you. Everybody dies here, including me. Oh. Tang Yuan nodded. I almost forgot. Did William give you a virus to inject? He also said that after injecting the virus and dying, you can be resurrected as a Superman? Oops, how should I put it? You really believe him? Wesker pointed to the trash can on the side. There was an empty syringe in it, and said, you said that? If that's your purpose, it's a pity that I have already used it, and, William didn't. There is no reason to count on me. There is no one else in the world who can be called a friend to me and him. You're right. 2KO? Tang Yuan pinched out the cigarette butt in his hand again, and then lit a new cigarette again. Don't be afraid of me, Mr. Wesker. If I want to do something to you, if you don't, you won't realize what happened until you die. Actually, I'm here to make a deal with you. Interesting. Wesker just said these two words without any unnecessary explanation. Tang Yuan pretended to dig in his pocket, exchanged for a test tube, and threw it to Wesker. Unlike the blue of the T-virus, the green of the T-vaccine, and the purple of the G-virus, the liquid in this test tube is orange-yellow. To put it bluntly, it looks like urine. T-virus stock solution. The T-virus stock solution specially created by an American director for his wife, not only will not turn the user into a zombie, but will allow the user to obtain a huge physical improvement, and is compatible with any other viruses, green and safe without side effects. The main god specially changed the original solution of this virus to golden yellow, and the local gold is more noble exchange price. 800 million points. Although it feels like it's hacking something. But the effect should be no problem. But why does it feel like the main god is getting more and more happy? Question mark. After exchanging this, it can be said that Tang Yuan's family property is not much left. Wesker looked at the test tube he threw over, looked at the liquid inside, and said, it's a beautiful color. Is it orange juice? It's not that kind of thing. Tang Yuan shook his head. You may not believe it, but this is a T-virus that has been thoroughly improved. Don't you want to change jobs? Umbrella has many enemies, not just one special one. Texel, note, and I'm from a small business that is said to have no reputation. If you want to jump ship to Texel, take this with you, whether it's for injection or for research, will speed up the speed of Umbrella's demise. Interesting. I didn't believe you, but even if it's orange juice, what reward do you want? Wesker put the test tube into a small suitcase and put it aside, then looked at Tang Yuan with interest. You know, I won't let you leave alive just because of this. Tang Yuan was reminded by the main god when Wesker decided to accept the original solution of the T-virus, and he was watching it right now. Albert Wesker obtained the original solution of the movie version of the T-virus, completed the branch plot, and obtained 200 million points. Well, I paid 800 million and only got back 200 million, Lord God, you are really cheating. That's right, if I really don't ask for anything in return, you might not feel at ease, right? Then give me the money. Tang Yuan rubbed his fingers towards Wesker. That's a good thing, I won't refuse it. 50 cents sincerity. Wesker twitched his lips. Want to get money from me? It's not easy. My address in Raccoon City is %at, and the password for the safe in the bedroom is %at. Hey. I am very happy to deal with you. Tang Yuan held back his smile, stood up and waved to Wesker, then goodbye, Mr. Wesker, and look forward to meeting you next time. After saying that, Tang Yuan walked out of the laboratory, and closed the door politely, and then, a burst of telekinesis ran to the roof and flew towards Raccoon City. Wesker watched Tang Yuan leave with a smile, shook his head after a long time, and said to himself, strange, why did I tell him where my money is? And let him leave? Is it because I was hypnotized? No, Uncle Wei, that's not hypnosis, it's a forced transaction by the Lord God. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49 Uncle Wei and Number 039, corruption. After an unknown amount of time, Chris, Jill, Rebecca, Joseph, Richard, and Barry finally overcame many difficulties and came to the main laboratory. Even if Barry intends to be a traitor, he doesn't have the ability now. How many people are there in total? Damn, 2 fists are no match for 4 hands. I'd better obediently follow the team and get experience. When everyone opened the door of the main laboratory, they saw Wesker sitting on a chair looking at the bright yellow T-virus stock solution. Wesker. Sure enough, you are the traitor. Chris roared, pointing the gun at him, and everyone echoed. Wesker, who was pointed at by a group of people, didn't panic at all. He just glanced at Barry with interest, knowing that he couldn't help much in this situation, so he smiled and said, "You guys, it's really unexpected and reasonable to be here. Chris, I have to say that I underestimated you, but it doesn't matter, just look at this." Speaking of Wesker, he pointed to the tyrant in the petri dish next to him, and everyone looked at the man-made giant in surprise. Have you felt it? The sense of oppression he brings to you. Is he a perfect creature? The charm of the T-virus is beyond your imagination. With that said, Wesker reached out and pressed a button next to the petri dish. Be honored. And cheer for it. You are the first to witness this power. The liquid in the petri dish slowly descended, and everyone's nerves began to tense. Finally, all the liquid inside lit up, and the glass cover around the tyrant slowly opened. Just when everyone was staring at this terrifying giant. Crack! The tyrant went limp and fell to the ground motionless. Everyone in stars. Wesker. The scene was very embarrassing. FVCK. I'm starting to regret letting that guy go away. Wesker stroked his forehead with his hand, and pushed his sunglasses. His face was very ugly. Then a group of people fired together, bang 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 gunshots. Wesker was beaten into a sieve, and fell silent in a pool of blood. Chris stepped forward to check Wesker's body, and found that he was indeed dead, and he was very dead, so he nodded to everyone and said, "See, this is the end of blindly believing in unknown powers. Captain, he taught us a great lesson, but this is no time to pay tribute to his great sacrifice. We have to get out of this place." Everyone nodded at the same time, but Rebecca stood up and asked, "Then, what about Tang Yuan? We haven't found him yet." "Leave him alone. That kind of guy has the ability to survive, and he deserves it if he dies," Chris said, leading everyone out of the laboratory. After a long time, Wesker, who was lying on the ground in a miserable state of death, suddenly moved and got up. The bullet holes on his body had healed at some point, and the extruded bullets fell to the ground one after another. "William, you really didn't lie to me. And, Mr. Tang, your joke is really not funny at all. The next time I meet you, I will tell you the same joke." Not long after, a voice sounded on the radio in the laboratory. "The self-destruct system has been activated. Please evacuate immediately." Repeat, "The self-destruct system has been activated." So the first generation of Resident Evil was meddled by Tang Yuan, and it ended in such an anticlimactic manner. When Tang Yuan returned to Raccoon City, it was still dark. At this time, Chris and the others were probably still waiting for Brad's helicopter at the mansion. He went all the way to his residence according to the address given by Wesker, looked around for no one, and then entered this small room with telekinesis. Sure enough, he found a safe on the bedroom wall. The password given by Wesker opened the safe. "Oh, I'm going to." After all, Wesker is the captain of stars. Even if he doesn't deliberately search for oil and water, someone will take the initiative to force him. In addition, he intends to break into the leadership circle of the Raccoon City Police Department. In order to manage various relationships, Umbrella also gave him a lot of funds. In short, when Tang Yuan saw all kinds of gold bars, cash, and checks in the safe, he felt that if Wesker didn't intend to be the boss who destroyed the world, sooner or later one day he would have to enter the cell because of the incident. The gold bars and cash were recovered on the spot, and the checks went to the bank at dawn and cashed out all the money. At that time, the little sister at the bank counter looked at him very strangely. Tang Yuan's words stunned the audience. "What? Professional debt collection, have you seen it? Oh, by the way, help me exchange my money into gold." He didn't know that even if he was helping people to collect debts, he just handed over the checks to the client. He hadn't seen any debt collectors who would take the checks to the bank to exchange for money. Anyway, as soon as he left, the girl at the counter called the police. Tang Yuan's ID card in this world was given by the Lord God, and it was probably a local with a registered residence in Raccoon City. After a while, he teleported back to Wesker's house. Anyway, it is estimated that Wesker will never come to this place again. At this point, there is nothing he can do during this period of time, and the next follow-up plan has to wait until the second child to continue, so Tang Yuan simply returned. Anyway, 720 has cracked and recorded it at some point in this world. You can come back anytime you want. Complete the main task and get, points. Coming soon, only 50,000. All the property loaded from Wesker's safe was directly recovered, more than 1,000 and nearly 2,000 million. Although there must be a lot of activity funds allocated by Umbrella to Wesker, there must not be much real corruption, but I still want to say, Uncle Wei, you are really corrupt, but I like it. So Tang Yuan, who got his money back, closed and opened his eyes contentedly, and returned to his real world. Looking around, he was still in the headquarters of the National Special Protection Agency, that is, in this remote mountainous area. At this moment, Tang Yuan seemed to think of something. He reached into the ring and took out a blood-red skull. Duong knocked his head on the skull. Ah! It hurts. Sure enough, this knock directly knocked out Nifajilo from the inside. The task originally given to this girl was to guard Tang Yuan's house and protect Tang Yuan's family, but Tang Yuan's IQ dropped. I took the skull to go through the biochemical crisis, and Nifajilo was dragged there, and her position was refreshed, and when she came back, her position was refreshed again. That is, she returned to Tang Yuan. Come around. You guys have been sleeping all the time, haven't you? Tang Yuan thought about the whole night in the world of Resident Evil, and the reverse Hairjilo didn't show up at all, so that he didn't think of it himself, so he put his hands on his hips. He stared at reverse Feijilo, who sat on the ground and covered his head. Boss, I was wrong. Wrong? Tang Yuan pulled her up. Come on, although you can't help me, how can there be any reason for the boss to be lazy? If I find out that you are lazy again, I will kill you. You become the Mediterranean. What is the Mediterranean Sea, boss? Nifajilo asked while covering his head. Tang Yuan choked on this question, and then replied angrily, you date Tao. No. Boss, I was really wrong. I don't dare to be lazy anymore, boss. Boss, please don't do anything to my hair, please, boss. Or, you need someone to sleep with you at night, boss. Fuck off, I'm not interested in anyone younger than me, at least someone who looks younger than me. Hey. Boss, you are disgusting. Chapter 50 Secret Mobile Force. Note, most of the departments in this book are fictitious. It can be understood as a parallel world country similar to my Great China. Pinrun. There is no secret mobile force in the country. And so on. Let the chief of security and senior teaching officials go to heaven with peace of mind. Actually, I should have posted this when I was in the first book. It's all young people's mistakes. By the way, this chapter is not about water, but to lead out the follow-up plot. Text just when Tang Yuan was still debating whether he should continue to choose a reincarnation world to play tricks or what, his cell phone rang. It's an unknown number, because the caller displayed on the phone screen is a string of garbled characters. Hello? Who is it? Tang Yuan asked carelessly after answering the call. It's me. Note, who are you? Don't you remember? I'm the captain of that secret mobile unit. Oh, it's you. What are you doing? The caller was the head of the Imperial Guards, who provided Tang Yuan with information about this group of degenerate reincarnators last time. He really is the captain. However, in such a super-secret department, most people spend their entire lives impossible to meet once. What is he trying to do on the phone? The country will not cheat you, little brother, don't be afraid. We checked. Do you have a seventh uncle named Li Ren? Yes. What? I almost forgot. Wasn't Uncle 7 pushed down by that Mr. Leng? Now Mr. Leng and the entire National Special Protection Agency have already kneeled down, so Uncle 7 has been pushed out again. What about on stage? Senior Li Ren said that you are a good person, so can you come to the Imperial capital? The chief wants to discuss something with you. Of course, this is actually recommended by Senior Li Ren. Let our covert mobile unit take charge. Will you come? Come on, why don't you come? Tang Yuan nodded again and again. Is there nothing else? If not, I'll hang up. Good. So the other side hung up first. Tang Yuan put away his mobile phone, picked his face. Why did the seventh uncle give me a good person card? By the way, what is the matter, that the seventh uncle will take the initiative to recommend me? After pondering for a long time, he couldn't figure out what was going on, So he pulled Nifagilo and flew towards the imperial capital. He didn't know whether the target was relatively small or the captain of the secret maneuver called the Imperial Air Force Command in advance. Anyway, Tang Yuan didn't encounter any obstacles until he flew all the way outside the imperial capital and landed in a deserted place. So he took Nifagilo and walked into the imperial capital. Before he had gone far, he saw a military pickup truck running over and parked next to them. After the window was rolled down, a black-haired big-backed middle-aged handsome guy wearing sunglasses waved, "Come on." Tang Yuan and Nifagilo looked at this man, standing motionless by the side of the road. Fuck. Me. It's me. Oh. As soon as Tang Yuan heard this sentence, he realized that it was the captain of the secret maneuver, and he immediately pulled Nifagilo into the car. "Sorry, last time you wore a helmet to cover your eyes." As for the face, it suddenly showed up, but I didn't recognize it at once. "By the way, your big back hair and sunglasses really remind me of someone, the captain of the special police team." "It doesn't matter, anyway, I change my hairstyle every few days, maybe next time you come to see Shamit's afro." The captain smiled, flicked the steering wheel, and the car turned around and drove out of the city. "You got shot in the stomach last time, are you alright?" Tang Yuan looked at the black and white striped t-shirt of the handsome middle-aged man, dressed so casually, I can't see the real identity of this guy at all. "Hey, you think that body armor I'm wearing is a girl's shirt? Let me tell you, the bullet just got stuck in my abdominal muscle, and didn't go into my stomach. Besides, this little girl injuries, our internal medical conditions only need the medical soldiers to make gestures like this, and they will be alive immediately. Although it is said that the cost is a bit high, otherwise the plaster would have been popularized. Those old guys from the Chinese Academy of Sciences really can research everything. Oh, I forgot to introduce you, right? My name is Xiao Shan. As you saw last time, I am the captain of the secret mobile unit. Although I was directly deployed at the police station last time, it was just the group the neuropathy just gave orders on its own initiative, and under normal circumstances you don't want to see our battle uniforms. Well, I understand, since you checked me out, I don't need to say my name." Tang Yuan pointed at Nifagilo, "But you probably couldn't find out this little girl, right? Her name is Zhang Xiaohua. Don't worry about other things, just a small shrimp that can't be turned over by the wind and waves." Nifagilo stared at Tang Yuan fiercely, daring to be angry but not daring to speak. "It doesn't matter, anyway, one less, this time we are just looking for something to do with you." Xiao Shan glanced at Nifagilo, and then asked Tang Yuan, "Is she reliable?" Tang Yuan understood the meaning of these words, and replied, "It's okay, she doesn't dare." Oh. So Xiao Shan felt relieved and continued driving. Not long after, this military pickup came to a very mysterious place. Tang Yuan didn't take it seriously, but there were nearly 10 checkpoints on the road alone. Most people would be scared if they were brought here. "Soft. Get out of the car." Xiao Shan turned off the ignition, opened the door and walked down first. Tang Yuan got out of the car and took a look. Hey, it's a rustic 2-story building. Those who didn't know it thought it was some kind of broken place. According to what Xiao Shan said on the road, if this place is bombed, a quarter of the power of the country will be directly paralyzed. God knows what's going on here. How many people can fit in a small building with only 1 or 2 floors? As a result, Tang Yuan followed Xiao Shan into the small building with a very ordinary or even crude decoration. There were 2 old men sitting and eating noodles at the small table in the corner. If it wasn't for the fact that they were both dressed in straight suits and looked at the materials used, Tang Yuan thought that Xiao Shan had taken the wrong way with a Chinese tunic suit which seemed very particular, and that this was the house where 2 ordinary old men lived. One of the 2 old men was someone Tang Yuan knew, and when Tang Yuan saw this person, he blurted out 4 big words, "Uncle 7. The old man came over and knocked on Tang Yuan's head casually. "How old are you? This place should call me Vice Minister." Hey, okay, Deputy Minister." Tang Yuan nodded and bowed while covering his head, and then asked, "What department?" "Secret Mobile Force Headquarters." 7th Uncle Li Ren replied angrily, then turned to look at the other old man who was still holding a bowl of noodles, and said, "Old Wang, this grandson is here, let's go down and talk about business." Upon hearing that, the old Wang drank the noodle soup in a few gulps, and then he didn't know what he was doing behind the scenes. The wall on one side slid open with a grunt sound, revealing a metal staircase going down. "It's amazing, my lord." Tang Yuan sighed, and then followed them down with a knot in his hair. After going down, it would be terrible. A huge underground space appeared in front of Tang Yuan. If it wasn't for the ceiling with a huge light bulb installed above his head instead of the sky, Tang Yuan thought it was outside, so he said, "How huge is this space?" On the big square, there was a group of people dressed as soldiers training there. The content of the training was something Tang Yuan, who had never been a soldier, had ever seen before: a meter run with a big stone slab standing every 10 meters. It's not for you to jump over, it's for you to break and run over. The broken boulders in the chest are weak. It turns out that this group of guys from the secret mobile unit usually train like this. Tang Yuan can slightly imagine what other training content is. If the people who can enter the secret mobile unit are not killed by playing, they are all ruthless characters who tear devils by hand. Uncle Qi and the old Wang led Tang Yuan and the others into a small room next to the square. It looked like a reception room, and everyone sat down one by one. "Come here, Tang Yuan, this old ghost is the minister here. The official is older than me, but you don't have to be afraid of him, just call him the old king," Grandpa Qi said, pointing to the old king. "Old man, you are not afraid that I will wear small shoes for you because I am older than you?" Old Wang looked at Uncle Qi unhappily, but he did not object to the title of Old Wang. "Oh, that's fine. Hello, Old Wang." Tang Yuan greeted Old Wang very politely, and then asked Grandpa Seventh, "Well, Grandpa Seventh, why did you put me on the ground, called here?" "Why else?" Seventh uncle replied angrily, "You should have come out of that wretched place by the look of you. Boy, you really have a lot of skills." "Huh?" Tang Yuan looked confused. "What's wrong with it?" Uncle Seven and Old Wang replied in unison, "That's what the main god space is." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.